the traffic was still pretty
Car in the
thick.
gravel, exit turn 13.
Loads of cars running close together, and then
This big
Car
accident.
230, car 230.
a
So
huge accident which put out, among other cars, the Fisichella Ferrari.
that's factory Porsche driver Kevin Estra limping away. There's Fisichella.
Yeah.
He get an early night in bed. And that damage.
At a circuit which he used to love here, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember he led a Formula One race here for a long time.
That, of course, caused a long, I think it was best part of 40-minute delay.
All sectors
while
green, the car
Armco
rejoined,
was
the car
repaired.
rejoined.
There they are, repairing the Armco. Everybody filtering by as our race director still giving us lots of messages. The 230 car incidentally is in
Yep.
the gravel at the moment.
But with all the work going on, it did take to do the job, and if a job's got to be done here, when it comes to safety, when it comes to barriers and things like that, it's got to be done properly. So there was a long stunt in cars behind the pace car, but soon it was out again. People took an opportunity to come in and make their stops that they had to make, and the Bentleys were able to make up a little bit of time by judicious use of when they had their stops and made their stops, and no doubt they were very much quick front runners.
8 car in the lead, coming in. It's pit stop. No, indeed, coming out. Though there was a hint of rain, so there was a very quick rain shower. That was quickly gone.
Everybody believed it was going to happen because you'd have seen the umbrellas go up. They were one after another like 9 pins.
And then we had the extraordinary sight of the Jaguar actually leading when the track was really greasy, doing a phenomenal job.
And these Jaguars really had got pace. As you can see, this blue car, which surprised everybody with its speed, just as the Bentleys had, was very much a front runner. Things didn't work out, however, quite the way they thought it would do. Even
The
if
man
you had a balloon.
there with a selfie stick up in a balloon. Audi in, BMW in the lead, and that BMW is still in the lead.
The same
Warning
car.
flag, car 40, track limits. Warning flag, car 40, track limits.
Those messages are live. Great shots there through Eau Rouge. Big battle. The McLaren was right in the hunt, still is in the hunt, of course, although the 58 car currently down in 9th place, but it's all pretty tight at the front.
That's
And
a
this
tyre
problem-
that's going on that, and he took it back to the pits, but more than a few problems with damage that the car had taken.
Kashim OJ's car, yes.
Yeah, and a bit of work to be done. This accident, almost exactly the same place as the previous one. Fortunately, the requirements to the repairs to the Armco were not as bad as happened the first time. Although we had a yellow flag out, although we had a pace car out, the cars were soon back in action again.
People making themselves comfortable there. And then there was this incident.
And this
And
was
that
the
was
end of
a-
the Jaguar challenge.
Well, and of course, Rennie Rast's challenge, as he was punted up the back by the Jaguar. And that is the 28 car with the puncture.
Very British about it
Yeah.
were Audi, because they maintained that it was in no way the fault of the Jaguar driver, who lost an enormous amount of time, is still running, fell back to 61st place, but I think probably will be able to improve on that position.
And then some great shots through the night. Bentley still very much in the hunt here, and of course the 7 car currently in 2nd place. Quite a lot of people making trips into the gravel. The Lamborghini from the Grasser team had to be pulled out. That was the Pro-Am car.
And one of the most impressive
Another spinner.
things,
That was, I think,
Yeah.
the Team Parker car.
yeah, one of the most impressive things that we've learned is that one team in particular has paid great attention to not having people nodding off asleep during the course of the night by making quite sure that everybody stays reasonably fresh within the team. This was Mark Lemmer who said this earlier on, and it's one of the reasons why this is quite a successful little mob.
Then, of course, we had a fantastic run by Alexander Sims. This was just a few moments ago. So the race continues. Some of the highlights there of the race as we head towards 1 o'clock. And let's check out the results. And there you are in the lead at the moment. Rowe Racing with the 99 BMW, Sims, Engen, Martin. In second place, the Bentley, Smith, Abrill and Kane. Then Stickler, Winkelhock in the Audi, Sule, Suchek and Reap in the second Bentley. Bavish, Van Thornton, Stevens in the Audi, Katzberg in the BMW, Dusseldorf and Dirk Werner, Delina, the journalist, Baguette and Gaffer. Then Ginsbergen, Ledigar and Bell right up there as well. And we go down through 13 into 24 positions. Bortolotti, an early leader, in 13th place now with Jerome Liekamolen and Ralph Inershen. A very good run at the moment for the Cameron, Scott Griffin, Ragazzi, AF Corsa Ferrari. That's a terrific. Jager, Paffett and Gotts dropped down a bit. We saw them just inching into the top 10. Gary Paffett, of course, making his 24-hour debut. 13 or 14 years he's had in the DTM, but Gary enjoying the experience. Then a surprise there in 34th place, Senna, Tappy and Durrani. We thought they'd be higher up, just in front of the Nissan. And then we're going further down through the AM cars now. Yao Hartley, Modell, Adam Turner. Aston had been running well. Still getting these messages about track limits. The Australian Lamborghini in 47th place. And at the moment, the third of the McLarens are way down in 52nd place. Watson, we had younger Andrew Watson up here in the booth, didn't we, earlier?
We did.
And Alex Fontana in that car as well.
The Bentley still fighting back. There's that unfortunate Jaguar, which, as we know, found itself well down the field now in the 60s. But you'll be pleased to know that the other Jaguar in the team is going better. And it's in the top 20, or at least when I last looked. I'll come back to you on that one in a minute or two.
More Bentley action then. M Sport team. Everyone was pretty surprised when Malcolm Wilson's M Sport organisation got this deal to run these Bentleys, because they were much better known for World Rally cars, particularly with Ford. And Malcolm, of course, great rally driver in his time, and his son Matthew did actually start racing before he then went rallying. He still does some WRC events. And he actually, if I remember rightly, won the little T-Sport Championship for teenagers. But it was a big surprise when M Sport got the job to develop those Bentleys, and what a phenomenal work they have done to make them competitive.
Well, I think it was very impressive the way that Malcolm Wilson dealt with the Ford Association that he had, and it impressed not just Ford but a number of other people in, shall we say, the business. If you were going to run the Bentleys and run them properly, it needed somebody to do and to have this sort of respect and power and knew what was necessary to make a good job of it.
But there are other big organisations out there that, you know, people might go to, so RML, or obviously ProDrive, and a number of others. And it was I'll still say it was a bit of a surprise when M Sport got the job, because they were more rallying people, but they have really cracked it. So back on board then with the 58 car again. We're getting some great shots from this. And Rob Bell at the wheel now, hanging there in 7th place. I still think there's a bit more to come out of this McLaren. Matt Griffin, great driver Matt Griffin, currently leading the Pro-Am class, because he's the pro in that team. Matt, who won the European Le Mans GT Championship a couple of years ago with Johnny Molan in the Ram Racing team.
Drive-through penalty to car 40, pit lane infringement.
Now,
penalty.
somebody else is about to get themselves into trouble, and it's car number 40. because he's got pinged for going where he shouldn't have gone, and that is the Ferdinand Jerry car. I'm not quite sure who's driving it at the moment.
So here, Maxime Martin.
Could be.
Very much a local man, a family actually steeped in history here.
But he couldn't possibly have gone off the track then, could he? But it's one of the things that, as you know, has brought a little bit of comment about the fact that drivers like to be able to use a little bit of extra road as and if and when they can. And there's no reason why, when it's a situation, that they won't and will continue to do it. But the idea is not to do it as a regular thing, because it doesn't necessarily save you a lot of time. But what it does do, it can very, very quickly destroy suspension in the car. It can cause all sorts of problems, and you can't actually delineate the edges of the track by putting, as the old days it used to be, straw bales, little walls, things like that, because if you're actually racing the other things, a two-wheel variety,
Yellow flag turn 7, yellow flag turn 7.
Now we've got a yellow flag out in turn 7. I will tell you who it is in a minute or two when I find out, and I will find out very quickly, I would think, in a matter of seconds. The whole thing here, and the information that comes to us here is usually very quick, and we know exactly what's happened and where it's happened.
Maxime Martin, though, in the lead. It's a 7.47 second lead at the moment over the number 6 car. And still Frank
Full
Stippler
course yellow
at the
in
wheel.
20 seconds.
And we're going to a full course yellow.
Ah,
I'm not quite sure who's
10
done
seconds.
what with to whom, but we are.
so all the drivers just can hear what we are hearing. Must have been an incident somewhere.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow.
Full course yellow counted in then. Andy Soucek in third place. So Soucek was 40 seconds down on the Stippler Audi in the Bentley. This will allow him to close up. This will put the Bentley right back in the hunt now.
It will, to a degree, but what actually happens is, until the pace car itself comes out, which is what we've got happening now, usually we talk about full course yellow, and that is when everybody slows down. But when it gets to this situation, that it's going to be a few minutes before it can be sorted in any great hurry, that's when you get the pace car out and they take the leader into behind them, and everybody else then does close up. And of course, it's a wonderful opportunity if you've got a pit stop queue.
Now, just looking at our timing screens, we've just got the yellow stripe which says it's a full course yellow, but we
Don't
know
know
not
what.
why at this moment.
Why? As and if and well, and we do know, we'll tell you. So, just while we've got this out, it's perhaps as well to finish off what I was doing, talking about the drivers actually who've won this race, British drivers. We went through the list of them, with the fact that Bentley had never won here, that Aston Martin had in 48 straight after the war, the Hawthorn won in 53 with Farina, Gordy Spice won with Teddy Pillett, and Tom Walkinshaw had a couple of victories, one with the Mazda, the other with, of course, the Jaguar. Steve Soper had a similar thing with BMWs, because he won here with an M3, and then he went on with a 320 BMW to take a win. And as another matter of interest, Tony Rolt had his first race here in 1936 with a Triumph.
Now, a lot of our younger viewers won't know who Tony Rolt is.
You won't know who Tony Rolt is until I tell you that Tony Rolt was, if you like, I suppose you could say, the Sterling Moss of 1938-39. He was the man heavily involved in building the flying machine in Colditz.
Oh.
And when he came out, he went back into motor racing and back into engineering. And one of the things that Rolt did, aside from winning Le Mans and things like that, was to be eventually involved heavily in the design of four-wheel drive. I don't have to tell you, probably the most famous four-wheel drive manufacturer in the world is Audi. And they had a very fine relationship with Tony Roth's company. And I was fortunate enough to know Tony well enough to write a book on him, and another contemporary of that era, Prince Birabongsa of Thailand, Elias B. Bira. And one of his prized possessions was an Audi which they hadn't given him because of his efforts with four-wheel drive. So there's a little bit of a story that attaches, if you like, this man to Spa.
Yeah, very busy pit lane now as a tear-off just comes off the third place number 8 Bentley. Andy Soucek there at the wheel at the moment. Obviously everybody closing up, quite a lot of driver changes. You see, absolutely, that pit road, people everywhere at the moment. Look at that guy holding 2 tires. Only 2 guys allowed to change the wheels. So it's pretty physical. Those guys are going to be wiped out tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I can tell you that. But the adrenaline will keep them going until then. Lights flashing on the Bentley. And Bentley, accompanied with all that history, just looking at his watch there before he counts him out.
Timing it precisely, get it wrong, and it can get you a penalty.
Indeed, and Bentley have already had a penalty for that very problem. And here he comes going 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Now they go.
So, there you see it.
So this could change if the pit stop was a bit slower, although they're all in this fixed window. Could see some results change. Now this is the incident, I think, Nev, and it is very difficult from those pictures to tell exactly what happened. I was trying to see.
Yes, it is difficult. What
get a handle on it.
Can see a car was off the road. We can see that it obviously couldn't move under its own steam.
Yeah, 4th placed Audi just coming back onto the racetrack. And there you see Maxime Martin, 1 or 2 or 3 DTM races, been racing in that series for 3 years. And from the Row Racing squad, who we're used to seeing, running Mercedes BMW, getting ready for a stop here. And see what happens. Saw if Charlie's in the vicinity anywhere. There's 2 pit lanes here. Charlie has to run between 2 pit lanes, the only place in the world where this happens. If you want a tough assignment for a pit lane reporter, this is the place, I can assure you.
And if you have any ambitions to put someone's name forward for the Olympics, Charlie obviously is your man.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we see him sprinting or pole vaulting even.
Yes.
So, very different shot there, and all the positions lit up. So we've got the car that's 20th and the car that's 34th and the car that's 30th. That's not the car number. That is our special lighting system. These guys, well, they're having fun down there at the stage. Is there a band playing on it? There must be.
Yeah.
A few people waving at our camera. They're enjoying it. This is not just a motor race now. This is an event. Look, flashing lights and colours.
Well,
a bit like the Nürburgring or Le Mans 24 hours. The big 24-hour races are events, and you have other things. Here is the other Row Racing 6th place car coming in, Nicky Katzberg. And just checking brake temperatures there. Fuel going in.
One of the interesting things we had happening earlier on today was that for some reason best known to themselves, and I never really found out quite what it was, the Lamborghinis were having a tyre problem.
They were having rear tyre degradation,
There
weren't
were
they?
degradations of the rear tyres, and they were putting it down perhaps to the amount of pressure that they had in them or didn't have in them. Now, here we can see that the work that is going to be going on out there in the country might not be 5 minutes.
It will not be 5 minutes, right. So, second of the Row Racing cars. There we are.
You may
Beautiful
remember.
onboard stop with Dominic Baumann in the 84 car, which is currently in ninth place as the row machine goes out.
You may remember we were saying earlier on that when you come to conducting repairs for something like this, you have to do it properly. Because if you don't do it properly, it's even more dangerous perhaps than not having a barrier at all. And it's one of the things that certainly now all circuits are very, very careful about making sure that they are maintained properly. And this is obviously a barrier problem that's going to require some proper sorting.
Yeah, I'm still a bit confused by it, Nev, to be honest.
We don't know what it is, that's the thing,
No.
do we? And nobody's going to tell us.
Well, somebody will tell us.
Well, they will eventually,
But
yeah.
At the moment, not clear.
Ah, there we are. So we're going to get
We're
some
hearing in
advice
our
on
ears.
that in a moment or two.
They're on it.
People bringing their cars in and taking advantage of perhaps not
Yep.
using quite as much time as you would otherwise do if racing speed happens to be going on at the time. It doesn't mean that you can necessarily profit that much by it, but all you can do perhaps is gain a few yards more, because you can at least speed up to get on the back of the train.
Now,
Having got
Nev,
on the back of the
we
train,
haven't
that's it.
seen any. Oh, just what are those? What are they doing there? Difficult to know. Does seem to be a barrier thing, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I wonder if this is a legacy from something from earlier on that they've suddenly decided they have to fix.
It's in a different place, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's in a different
What
place.
we haven't seen yet is any of these mandatory 5-minute stops. They've got the one 5-minute stop they have to do, and we know that is effectively for them to do a brake pad or disc or both change, and typically you'd want to do that halfway through the race, because as 24-hour races go, this is a very late starting race. We understand that the Bentley 24 car has stopped, and
This is
the
Ian
barriers
Lobby,
are being repaired, and I
Onslow Coal car.
Yeah.
Andy Merrick and Colin McLeod car. Now,
Well, he's Ian Loggy in the car at the moment. He's the amateur. Oh, there we can see it. Look,
Yeah.
now we can see it, but I think it's going onto the flatbed, so it's
Yeah.
taking a big bounce there. Ian, who been in the packaging industry, I believe he's just sold his company. Actually, he's one of the biggest manufacturers of cardboard boxes in Britain. Well, it maybe has crumpled like cardboard at the front. We'll hopefully, maybe Charlie can get himself down to Team Parker. Definitely knows the team well. Try and get a handle on that. They would have heard from Ian over the radio what actually happened, but it certainly brought everything to a crawl at the moment.
the Parker boys, incidentally, are very, very good at what they do.
Yeah, well, Stuart because runs this team, and then the other brother, I think, runs hundreds of Caterhams
Yes,
racing.
he certainly
Your
does.
son Richard race a Caterham for Parker?
He did.
I think
in
he
fact,
did.
He raced, and actually, he did actually. I think they did actually prepare one of his cars. I'm just trying to remember which one, but he
Yeah.
raced Caterhams. In fact, he won the European Championship with them twice running.
Richard Hay, very good runner also in TVRs, ran at Le Mans one year with TVR.
And he loved this circuit here.
Yeah.
Particularly if it was wet.
Yeah.
Now try and explain that, I suppose, but he was good in the wet. Right
So-
now he's at another circuit doing some more hard work, which I
Historic
managed to get
racing.
out of because I'm here instead and I
Yeah.
much prefer it.
Well, historic racing, good historic
Yeah.
racing here at Spa. The crowd enjoying themselves. The 99 car, Maxime Martin, very much a Belgian driver. In the leading car at the moment, Frank Stickler, been in the 6 car for a while. His partner's a TV presenter that I've worked with in the past. Lovely to see her here this afternoon. And the 6 car is in the pit now, Nev. Second place car has come into the pit. I wonder if Stickler will get out of it. I think he will. And then in third place, the number 1 car of at the moment in that car, I think is Dries Van Thor, the younger of the 2 brothers.
Yes, I think it is actually, because that's the car.
Dries is a teenager still.
Because Stevens, Stevens was in the car, wasn't it? Now I think this guy just replaced him about half an hour ago.
Stippler coming out of the 6. And Soucek in the 8. So the Bentleys are now 4th and 5th. And then in 6th place, another WRT car. The Kaffer Bertram Baguette, another Belgian driver, and Andrea Delina, the Belgian racer stroke journalist, or journalist stroke racer.
I just love to see these guys do their work when they come to change tyres and things like that. It's beautifully rehearsed, beautifully
Team now this is Team Phoenix. Most of the top Audis, of course, created by the Belgian WRT team. This is Team Phoenix, who have had a lot of success, won the DTM
Procedure,
championship.
safety car procedure. Safety car lights on.
So more from our race director.
Yeah, so safety car lights. And we will have, obviously, we know a little bit more detail on what happened there, but it's fairly clear that it's going to take a minute or two to clear it up. And it's equally fairly clear that quite a lot of people have taken the opportunity to do a little bit of maintenance that's required.
Another of those Audis in the top 10. The 7th place car, number 2 machine, again from the Belgian Auto Club team WRT, Stuart Leonard, who much of his racing career has been in the VLN series at Nürburgring, but doing a terrific job here. And in 8th place, 58 car, and at the wheel of the 58 at the moment. Just check out the list, and 58 car has still got Bell in it, hasn't it? Yes, it has.
Yeah.
And then Katzberg, and then Baumann, and then the 16 Lamborghini after that. It's Ineschen. Now here is that Oman car that had the problem, but of course dropped way down the list. In 12th place, the 52 Matt Griffin at the wheel of Duncan Cameron's Ferrari, run by AF Corsa. And after that is the Black Falcon team Mercedes, Andreas Simonsen currently at the wheel. Sharing that car with Adam Christodoulou, British driver who won the Nürburgring 24 Hours, of course, this year in that dramatic last lap where the lead changed.
Yes, the 24-hour races have had that, haven't they? We had, of course, a dramatic thing at Le Mans this
nothing
year.
more than that. Nothing more dramatic than that.
That was very dramatic. And we had the one at the Nürburgring. So are we going to get 3 in a row? Well, time alone will
could
tell.
well be. In 15th place now, Gary Paffett. I think it... No, sorry. Scrub that thought out for a moment. But nice to see Gary here. Now you see the damage. Now we know what the score is. That car is not rejoining.
No,
so
I think we can...
Problem for
it
Team
can look
Parker
forward
machine.
to...
Went in pretty hard, I think.
Yeah,
so
look forward to a visit to the workshop.
Yeah.
A new shell, probably.
So it's BMW still leading the way here. Very good effort by Rowe Racing. And it's Audi, Bentley.
Just looking at the gap, which is quite a respectable gap, isn't it?
Just to pick up on the Gary Paffett, he is currently in the car in 17th place. So we're seeing some of the amateurs going through, and just check out who's doing well there. Alexandra Moiseev, who I guess is a Russian in the number 40 car. A team that calls itself Easy Race. No racing's easy.
No.
That's getting provisions here, Nev. I'm not sure if you
Wow.
noticed, just behind us.
Excellent.
Yeah, the 49 car leading those standings. You see the standings going through there. This amateur class, as I said, there's a few silvers. Quite a lot of talent in some of those cars. And in the car which he's leading, they include the veteran now, Portuguese driver Rui Aguas. So I think this yellow is going to take a little bit longer yet. It's the 888 Kessel Racing. The car's been right in the hunt for that AM Cup. This championship runs all through the year. 5 rounds, of course, of this Blancpain Endurance Company. Blancpain, one of the oldest watch manufacturers in the world, of course. Swiss precision. And they have this, obviously have their sprint championship.
Yeah.
So, well, we've seen the Team Parker car crash, but now we can go down to the pit, find out more.
Okay, with Richard Benton from Team Parker Racing, what a fantastic job. Loads of celebration there with the team, patting on the backs and clapping. What happened?
Basically, we have had a couple of punctures. One of the punctures took out the front right-hand lighting loom. So we've held him out there. We've brought him in under the yellow. We've changed the lighting loom and fixed it all, got him back out. Chris Harrison in the car, and the car's looking good.
Okay, how's Chris getting on this weekend? Is he fired up and ready to go?
I can't actually hear you because he's talking in my ear right now.
What's he saying? Tell us what he's saying.
He's saying, there's a lot of swearing, and he's saying, it looks like somebody went straight on and covered the circuit in debris, basically.
In debris, but I'm sure he used a 4-letter word, something else. Whereabouts is the debris? Whereabouts?
I don't know exactly.
Okay, you don't know exactly,
No.
but he's quite fired up then, clearly, by his language.
Oh, yes, it's Chris.
That's Chris. Okay, go on, carry on. My director's just talking to me. Hang on.
Ah,
Can you ask your driver now live on air exactly where the debris is, or roughly?
Chris, I'm talking to the TV. Can you tell me exactly where the debris is, please? You said there was something on the track.
So this is Team Parker Racing at the moment, getting a live feed from Chris Harris in the Bentley. I'm just waiting for a response back from the team.
Okay, he's telling me there's it's a big crash at Le Combe.
Okay, there's a crash at Le Combe, so there's flashing yellows and safety car at the moment. So
Due to
safety
the
car lights are
damages
flashing on the pit
caused
lane.
by
So
car
thank you very
24
much for
in
that,
turn
Richard.
7, the
I've just
repair
heard that
will
it's
take
our
approx
sister
40
car. It's our
minutes.
sister
The
car that's
repair will take
crashed.
approximately
No way, so that's
40
not
minutes.
good news at all. Okay, so live, hot off the press there from Chris Harris in the car, telling us live on telly.
Sure.
That's not good news. So I'm going to leave you to it because you've got a lot to concentrate on.
Charlie,
Leave you
yeah,
to it.
Guys,
it's
cheers.
Charlie, it's our other car, isn't it? That's caused the damage, of course. So we're getting excited about that. That 4-letter word was MUC, Muck.
Yes, I realised that straight away. But no,
Yeah.
that's why I couldn't quite follow why
I
he was
think
looking
that-
so cheerful.
I've
and
done
I
a
think
lot of-
what happened was that he came to do the interview
Yeah.
and didn't know what had been happening.
Absolutely. I've done a lot of pitch reporting, done Le Mans every year over the last 20-odd years, bar one actually. And sometimes it's a bit, you're all keyed up to do one of those interviews, and then other things happen, and of course you're just concentrating on that interview. But the team manager, I'm surprised he hadn't heard it in his ear, but maybe he was just concentrating on his car. Chris Harris, they were talking about, is a guy who was originally a journalist at Autocar magazine. Pretty good racing car driver. Seen him in the Foreman Ford Festival and quite a lot of events.
Yep.
But just in the last year, his fame and fortune, I don't know about the fortune, but certainly his fame has absolutely multiplied because he was one of the people that joined the big Top Gear after the shake-up, together with Chris Evans, and he's got a lot of profile, is Chris Harris. And top journalist. Here's number 1 Audi then in. This R8 just drops back off the jacks. And you heard the race director, of course. I was trying to listen to the interview as well. I think the race director said this barrier change could take a long time.
Yes, he did, and he did actually give us a little bit more information, but unfortunately, because we got the interview going on at the same time, I couldn't actually pick out precisely what he said, but I'm sure that we'll get an update on it in a minute or two, so we'll have a better idea. But I think there's more than one car was involved.
But great to be interactive with the teams. Just unfortunately, it was happening at the wrong time. And the teams to TV asked where is the dirt, and then we find out where the dirt is and all that. But unfortunately, the dirt was where their other car had smacked it into the barrier. So I think yes, Team Parker.
Yeah, I think there was more than one car involved in it.
I think that's possible. Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
But it wasn't mine because it's safe and it's in your drive.
No.
Oh dear.
So the Audi bridge lights up. It changes its message.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that. I've been doing it for 4 days now. Audi, a huge hospitality unit in here.
Yeah.
SC, safety car.
I don't know whether I believe what I've just seen, but I'm sure I saw a car without lights.
I think that's entirely possible. Entirely possible. But he won't be going around much.
No, he won't be going around much, and he won't be going very far. But I'm sure I saw a car going through a picture there without any lights on.
This, of course, does give the drivers a bit of a rest, but then I really want to get back racing again.
I think the big problem with a situation like this is threefold. The first is that it can break your concentration.
Yeah.
You get yourself, when you're driving a race car over any distance, it doesn't have to be an hour, 2 hours, or what have you. 10 minutes, you get yourself into a sort of almost a little cocoon of your own, which you live by and drive by and behave by. That's the first thing. So that breaks your concentration. The second thing that happens, of course, is that your tyres go off a bit. They go off for two reasons. One, sometimes you don't stick to the precise line because you've had to come off it because of something on the track or something of that sort. So you're picking up the marbles and that sort of thing. And the heat goes out of them, and very, very quickly too.
Here's the Pro-Am standings. So in the lead at the moment in Pro-Am, and see 58 cars we go through. That's 9 through 12th there, but it's the 58 car that is leading Pro-Am. And also up there in the top 10, that machine.
Yeah.
58.
We've got some more of these cars coming through with the Bentley, you can see number 17, a Nissan and then 6 BMW, but it's coming to us in bits and drabs.
I mean the 52 car is leading, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies, 52 car. Duncan Cameron now at the wheel of the car that I believe he owns, or he's certainly got a deal with the fantastic AF Corsa and Marta Ferrari's team. And he is in 15th place overall, leading Pro-Am, but in second place in that category is the number 100 machine, which is in 16th place overall. So they're going to be running very close together, and that's the Attempto Racing Lamborghini of Lewis Marshals, Max van Splutteren, Jerome Mull and Giovanni Venturini. So one bronze driver in Lewis Marshals, then Van Splutteren has been around quite a while, is a silver. Jerome Mull is a silver. And Giovanni Venturini, I must admit I don't know that much about, it is the gold in that particular car. These golds and silvers, it's a different grading to what's used in some other series. So that is a good battle there. And then, so the lead car in GT Am is 15th. The second car in that category is 16th. And the third car is 18th. And that is the number 11 car, Castle Racing, Michael Brodaszewski, Alessandro Bonaccini, Andrea Risoli has been doing a very good job, and Giacomo Piccini in their 488 Ferrari, and that's one of Kessel's cars.
And they're going to sing a short opera for us.
No, they're not.
No?
No, I don't think so.
I thought Puccini had composed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Nev. Yep, so we've got this hiatus at the moment. I'm sure Charlie's hunting down some more stories for us. Interesting to hear maybe from Charlie. I'm not sure if you're hearing us, if you've got the chance to go to Row Racing and maybe dig out Alexander Sims if he's not gone to lie down in the motorhome. It'd be great, but I know how difficult it is sometimes finding these people, and they do.
And they
Quite
can,
right, they go and have a
hide
sleep, don't they?
exceptionally well.
Yeah, but
the other thing that interests me is that this isn't a very, very long circuit, but it's a long enough circuit that when they've all closed the gaps because the pace car is out, the whole field, and there's still a very large number of cars still running, literally is nose and tail. And so very shortly, right in front of us here, the last car will go through and it'll be completely silent for about 2 minutes plus before they come around again.
So here's another pit stop.
You may think, well, why are they hurrying so much if the cars aren't actually racing, they're going around in the pace car? Well, it's very simple. What you really don't want to do is to lose an entire lap. If you can get out now and get on the back of the pack, then so much the better.
Now that's the 888 Kessel Racing Ferrari. I don't know why they're allowed to have such a big number. There we are. That car's down in 40th place overall, but that is the leader of the AM category.
Yeah.
And now they're pulling
I'm
the
just
car
looking
back.
for my own interest.
Just to give it a bit of space to go out. So
that's a 458, isn't it?
That's a 458, non-turbo car.
Yeah, which is
got,
much easier car to drive.
Got a longitudinal gearbox as well, with the current one has a transverse gearbox. And the 888 Kessel car, Marco Zanatini, Vadim Gliten is a Russian driver. Liam Talbot, of course, we talked about, the Australian, and their silver, the very quick Nicola Kadai in that car.
I'm just looking at a car with flashers on that came down the pit road.
The 44 was going back in the garage again. Parker with the Oman Racing Team, Aston Martin and the Aston in this race. Factory driver Darren Turner, of course, has been at the wheel of that car earlier. So that car has just gone into the pits, and I think Charlie is already down there, and we'll catch up with why it's gone back into the garage.
Okay then, guys, so I've just spoken to David Bartram, who's the team boss of Oman Racing and a Motorbase. A bit of a hectic weekend for them as they're running touring cars as well at Snetterton, but Darren's had a little bit of contact. The manifold is right below the oil tank. They've collected a lot of oil on the front right corner inside the wheel. They're more worried about oil dripping on the circuit, as well as obviously more damage being done to the car, and also possibly it may be catching light as well, because obviously oil and hot exhaust, because this is a 24-hour race, can get pretty tricky. So they are working really, really hard under the car, as you can see around the car. So Darren Turner's in the car. It's been tipped up to tip the oil, I presume, down towards the front of the car. They've put the air jacks up. The rear of the car's gone up first. Let's get out the way of the bonnet as well. So we're looking after the cameraman as well. But lots going on here. But basically a little bit of damage. Manifold cracked slightly or damaged, with oil tank and oil leaking on top of that, and the wheels collecting oil. So that's what's going on down here in the pit lane. Couldn't get an interview with them because it was just about to come in the pits, but I got the information ready for you boys up in the commentary box. And by the way, you're doing a sterling job. I'm loving listening to your chat, so keep it up, boys. It's brilliant.
Yeah, thanks very
Well,
much.
at the moment, Andrew, they're taking off the mud guards so that they can actually get to the engine, to get to it. And if you look at the speed at which they're operating, it's fascinating.
These
go
guys
for it,
are
go
all
for it.
very well trained. Charlie, of course, down there in the lower pit. If he's still hearing us, Charlie, we would like to hear from Rowe Racing if you get the chance when you get up to that top Grand Prix pit lane. Obviously they got the car in the lead, and we were hoping you might find Alexander Sims, but then we're also thinking you might well be tucked up in a nice bed in a motorhome by now. But it'd be nice to hear from Rowe, see what they got to say for themselves.
I'll head up there in a minute.
Well, now we can see what they can see.
Well, Charlie described this oil, and they're worried about it, but and they're obviously onto it, aren't they? And they can do this because we're under the yellow. I'm not sure they would have gone quite through the same procedure if they hadn't been under a full course yellow.
Well, one of the big problems you've got here that you can see that everybody has got, well, I say everybody, nearly everybody has got his gloves on, but I'll tell you what, it can smart a bit when you touch something hot, and there are things down there that are quite hot.
Yeah, so we've got factory driver Darren Turner in this car. We've got factory driver Johnny Adam in this car, but in the W World Endurance Championship, Aston have just had a bit of a rejig of their drivers, and so for the rest of the season, Johnny Adam is not going to be in the WEC. I'm sure that's a bit disappointing for him. Now, look, that's definitely some kind of oil tank there that is going to be. I think they're changing that actually. Yeah. Maybe that's got punctured or something, so they're going to change. That's going to be quite a difficult and tricky job. And of course, that whole operation, we mentioned Dave Bartlett, but of course Ahmed Al Harthi, who's been very successful in the British GT Championship, got the backing of Oman Air. I enjoyed flying there to the Oman about 3 years ago on the way to India, and the program had already started then, and they used the sponsorship so well, the Omanis, with that. And I think we've got quite a few guests here. He's got other Oman Tel and other of his sponsors there, and very good guy, Ahmed. And not too many racing drivers you can name from the Oman, the Sultanate of Oman. In the Middle East.
I noticed you mentioned a Thai driver.
Yes, a Thai driver.
Earlier on.
I did relate this story the other day, but saw him racing a couple of years ago at Petit Le Mans in Atlanta. He had a nice, knew all about the Prince, Birabanzi, and when I did an interview with him, our producers found a shot of Prince Birabanzi and put it on the air.
Oh, that's
as he talked about it, which was a nice thing to do. And
for many of you who sort of think, well, who was this chap? He was indeed a very, very close relative to the then king of Thailand when he was born in 1914. He had a cousin, Prince Chula Chakrabongsa, who in fact many thought would probably become the King of Thailand, but here was a problem insofar as the marriage of Chula's father and the king, of Chula's mother and the king, unfortunately fell over, and as such, therefore Chula didn't go on.
Yeah, look, just quickly, the Rowe Racing car, the Rowe Racing BMW in the pits, the lead car. They're doing a quick change up to cleaning the windscreen. And I know that Charlie's on his way up there, so he's going to find out more. But see
to
that
be
happening?
Continued.
Tell us more about Prince Bira.
So Bira started racing in 1934-35 on a British licence, managed and financed by his cousin, Prince Chula.
Was he a bit of a playboy then?
And he took the whole thing very, very seriously and invested an enormous sum of money in the best cars that money could buy at the time. And he had a very successful career pre-war, when Thailand then became a member of the FIA, and it had its own racing cars, which were blue and yellow. After the war, the team continued until 1948, when Prince Chula decided to retire from motor racing, and Bira went on, however, to drive cars for Plate with Maserati Force LT, and also in his own right with the 4.5 litre Oscar
What their strategy is,
and 250F Maserati. He was a fascinating man because apart from his ability as a racing driver, he was a very gifted sculptor and actually had his work seen at the Royal Academy.
History lesson from Neville Hay. I believe that he also, at one stage, was the chairman of Thai Airways, wasn't he?
He actually started it, and there was one other thing. This was before the days of navigation that we have today, and the charts that he drew up from when he was flying back to Thailand in 1952 were for a long time used by all the airlines.
Great story, interesting. So, 99, still in the lead, BMW. Jens Marquardt, the competition's director of BMW. I saw him here yesterday. I'm not sure if he's still here. Obviously, BMW, a program also with these similar cars, a slightly more hot rodded up in America in the sports car series there, in the United Sports Car Series run by Bobby Rahal's team, Rahal Lanigan Letterman Racing, it might be Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, and Dirk Werner, one of the drivers in that team, and is also racing here this weekend, although he's had problems. But Maxime Martin who's staying in the car here at the moment.
And there's a shot we haven't seen.
And they're at 13 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We shot there that we hadn't seen, which was from the outside of La Source, where you see the cars come down, as they're coming down now, and actually go round La Source. Right at the top of our picture now, because you can't see now we're going.
Big ritzy-looking hotel has been built up there.
There it is again.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Famous La Source hairpin.
Yep.
And of course, we saw this race start as a rolling start in the old front of the old pits, although of course the finish line is the new pits. Formula One, of course, still start at the new pits, and lots of daring do into that first corner.
Where we have seen some excitements in the past.
We have seen cars leaping in the air.
Yeah.
So rather protracted full course caution here.
Which is still ongoing, incidentally, and as I said to you, what's happened is all the cars now have bunched up because all the gaps have closed, which you're entitled to do. There's nothing wrong with that. The only time you like to lose any more time is if you have to have a pit stop, and then of course you'll try and catch up with the back of the pack again, so that it is not perhaps as dramatic or as disastrous to your opportunity in the race.
We've just got, I think it's just 3 cars, it might be 4 cars now.
I'm not quite sure what that driver's threw into the pits there, are you? It seems like he leapt out of the car, tossed something into the pits and got back in the car again.
I was... So, coming up to the hour, time for our highlights package. Well, this seems a long time ago now. Nev, big crowd, and the parachuting in and the waving of the Belgian flag. That's how we got this underway.
At 4:30 this afternoon.
Yeah.
And the car's setting off here with already a cloud, if you like, hanging over the Mercedes, all of whom had got to stop for 5 minutes and had actually lost their grid positions and so were a long way back.
But it was the Audi that took the lead from the Lamborghini, but then very quickly that car, Pierre's own car, with Marco Seefeld, a very professional driver, he dumped it in the gravel. They finally dug him out of it. Meanwhile, the Mercedes took the start, but of course then came in and had their 5-minute penalty. And they've been on the back foot ever since.
Somebody said at the time it would take them 8 hours before they got in the top 10. It did, and it has.
In the first hour, other than that early spin into the gravel, great racing, but not too many other incidents, and that all changed. Here's a car that battled early on for the lead, but has now dropped right down the field. The number 50 Pierre Guidi car. We had Audi's challenging, and then inexorably we saw the Bentley starting to move up. There is the number 16, and then we had this huge accident as the Porsche came out of the pits. Factory driver Kevin Estra tagging the Japanese driver, sending him into the barrier. Kevin limped away from it.
And the other man who was disappointed was, of course, Fisichella, who
His
you can
teammate.
see there now with his car out of the race and never eaten so much as a lap on a circuit that he loves.
But there was a problem. The Armco barrier was badly damaged. Took the best part of 40 minutes to repair it. Everybody trooped round, and that guy got a nice photograph. But they
It's
are
not a
repairing
case.
the barrier.
Not a case of it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. It's a case of it's worth doing. It has got to be done well. It has got to be done to the best of the ability of the team, because people's safety is very definitely at risk if it's not.
Then we had BMW in the lead. You said the 01 flashing. That's the 99 car, which has actually been leading until very recently. Just dropped back just now. But I think that's it, the virtue of a pit stop it's just made. Then we had Bentley having a big push. The number 8 car there in the lead. Bentley had some worries, and they had the odd drive-through penalty as well. And the 7 car actually had to start from the pit lane after a problem with a fuel pump. But Bentley have been very much in the hunt so far. And of course, we aren't even halfway through this race yet.
And Bentley, of course, while they actually commanded respect and many wins at Le Mans, indeed right up to this century, had never been successful here in Belgium.
We had a little shower of rain, and that really played into the hands of the Fry Jaguar, which led for a bit. First time a Jaguar had led a 24-hour race for over 25 years. There it is.
A lot of people don't remember that, of course, Jaguar won their first 24-hour race, this circuit, in 1984-85, which was, of course, before they won Le Mans in 1987.
We just saw the 50 car in the gravel. And back to Row Racing having a great run. Had a good charge by the Bell, Ledegar, Van Gisbergen, McLaren, and that car is still currently well inside the top 10. Mercedes were meanwhile trying to work their way up through the field. There is the McLaren going out, and there an incident as the number 30 car charged into the barrier, just lost it on the way in. And that was Derek Pierce in the Team Parker car. Then problems for the Boots and Guignon Racing BMW. M6 in trouble. Frantic and furious battles as we went into the night. And more repairs there. Some people just having a nice little cocktail, I noticed. We haven't had that pleasure. But then we've got a job to do. So I don't like going to races as a guest. I'd much rather be
You
working.
prefer to go and work, don't you?
Let's have a little relax there. The WRT Audi team always, of course, been right in the mix, as they still are at the moment. And just currently, they are leading. In fact,
This was the end of the
Jaguar challenge.
Challenge here.
But the thing was, Nevi punted up the back. The Rennie Rast, the 28 car.
Which is not his fault that he did.
Yeah, the
He
Rast
too
Van
received
Thor car.
a pretty savage blow, and the Rennie Rast car had to be painstakingly rebuilt.
Yeah.
Was able to continue with the race.
Just
the Jaguar 2 came out again, but not that it had lost an awful lot of time.
And so
it's
did
still
the
running.
fireworks and the smoke machines, as the fans really enjoyed their racing, and some great onboard shots as we went deeper into the night here. Bentley very much in the mix here, and then we had more cars in the gravel. The Lamborghini there just pulling itself out from the Grasser Racing team. I think that was the 63 car. And then another Bentley looped it, and that was pretty impressive, getting back into the race.
This was car number 30,
That was a Derek
if I
Pierce
remember
car.
rightly. Yep.
Meanwhile, at the front end, sharp end of the field. Out pops Alexander Sims after an absolutely terrific run, driving with Philip Eng and Maxime Martin. Alexander, same crash helmet design he's had since his Formula 3 days. Our boy's got the filter lens on, and then the 24 car, this is not so long ago, Ian Loggy crashing the Team Parker machine, and Team Parker have had a hectic, 6 or 7 hours. So there's some of the highlights for you of the total 24 hours of Spa.
And having looked at what happened, let's tell you what's happening. It's
I want to know what's happening here.
A yellow flag situation, pace car out situation, and it's gradually being cleared up, but it's taking a little bit of time.
Meanwhile, team manager of the 59 McLaren. Let's just look at the current positions though. Mies, Stippler, Winkelhock in the lead now. Souchet, Reap in the Bentley, and the Van Thor Stevens car. The BMW was leading, dropped to 4th at the moment. It's all very close amongst these cars. The McLaren in 6th place, Katzberg in that BMW in 7th. Not quite keeping up with it, Nev, I'm afraid. I must talk quicker. I must talk as fast as David Addison.
I don't think we can manage that quite. No, but the first Jaguar now has gone up to 17th place.
Gary Paffett making his 24-hour debut in 15th. There, the Thai driver we were talking about is in 18th place now with Rugolo and Pierre Guidi, that car that led very early on. Patrick Pillay, a factory driver for Porsche, of the 2 main Porsches in this race, that's the only surviving one, the Raymond Narak entered car. And then we're coming through now to some of the cars in the GT AM and indeed the AM categories. Bit of a surprise there, the number 60 McLaren down there in 33rd place, and then the 34, the Black Falcon 00. We just saw that in the pits a minute ago. And Nissan not having a great race either here, of course. They won the Blancpain Endurance Championship last year. Takaboshi, a top Formula 3 driver in Japan at the moment. Good to see him. Such a mix of drivers here at this race, from ex-Formula 1 drivers to rising stars like the Japanese driver. And then
here are Massa Ferraris that you can see. They, some of them are the later 488s, some of them the earlier 458s, which is a much more user-friendly car we are told.
46 is the car that had the incident on the very first lap, still going. And now we're really down into people who have been having problems, that have been in the garage a lot.
And that includes the Emil Frey Jaguar, which you can see now is in 60th place. When he rejoined, actually, he was in about 63rd, so at least he's made 3 places up.
Yeah, no, there in 60th place was the Jaguar. And then I think most of these DNFs, the Armindo Estra
we've
car,
got 3
and
sure.
Moto Aki was the guy that was actually in the guy that was tagged by Kevin Estra. There is what my American colleagues call a rotor going on, but we call it a disc brake in the 85 car.
And this is in fact
done rather early.
Surpriser. It's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Because this is a Mercedes, surely.
Yeah.
Which we didn't expect to see them have to do this at this stage. Mind you, they've been used hard to pull their way back up.
This is the Clemens Schmidt car, which for a while was in pole position until the technical staff of the series looked into the ECUs of the cars, and of course all those 6 they found some irregularity. Okay, and I think we can go down to Charlie, who's got another guest for us. Charlie.
Okay, so I'm here with Dirk, who is the team manager of Phoenix. Not the first time that you've actually been at Spa doing a 24-hour, is it?
Now it's the 10th time now. We started in 2006 here the first time with another car, with an Aston Martin car. We were in the first race we ran here with Phoenix for second overall. The Maserati won the race, we are second. Then we ran in the next year with the Corvette in 2007 and won the race with PK Carsport Phoenix Racing with Corvette. So the second year we won the race. And then we started with Audi from 2009 on we won for special classes there. We won the G2 class, and overall we were third, so it's very often on podium. And on 2012 we won the race overall here, also with the Audi. And now it's the 10th time here. Now we're fighting also for hope for the victory. It's a special race. We have very long times safety cars now in full course yellow. Now in the moment also over 40 minutes. And that is very special for the strategy, because you must look when you will come into the pits, when you change the tires, when you make your pit stop, and where's the place after this, yes? So it's not so easy in the moment.
Okay, so have you done extra pit stops than what you planned on doing because of the safety cars and things like that, or have you been just very, very clever at what you've been doing?
Yeah, we speak it. We are there with 3 people and look to the strategy. What is the best solution to do? In a moment, it's also the question when we will come in. We were when we have full course yellow, then we get the safety car, and now the safety car is very long out. So we think that we have to do 1 pit stop more also in this safety car area.
Okay, I'm looking around the pit garage at the moment. You look like you've got tools ready and new discs. Have you obviously haven't come in for your pit stop yet with the discs, or not?
No. We wait because we can do this in 22 hours, and we think about like our sister car. When you have a small accident, you can also the time use for repairing of the car. So we wait a little bit.
You wait a little bit. Anything could happen yet.
Anything can happen, and it's long time. I think when you look to my watch, I think we have over 12 hours. We have 13 hours now. Yes, so it's a long time, and I think everything can happen. We saw it was some accident also with the other Audi, so we wait a little bit that we have time to change brakes and perhaps little things on the car.
Okay, how long does it take to change the pads and discs? What's the practice that you've gone through over the last many, many years to change the tyres? Give me a time, roughly.
Nearly 2 minutes.
No way, really?
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
The guys practice that, and they are very quick to do this.
Do you think they do that in the local Audi garage?
No, not with a normal car, only with a racing car. It's special, the disc and the brakes. But the guys, they practice it very often.
But you're feeling confident though, leading at the moment, feeling fairly comfortable?
Yes, we are optimistic, yes. We have to fight. The other cars are also quick, the BMW and the Bentley behind us, and also the other Audis. So we are optimistic. We hope that we can run without problems the next hours, and then we're fighting. And at the end, we will see, yeah?
Okay, with Mercedes, with the issues that they had from qualifying, getting a 5-minute penalty, etc., that obviously has played into your hands. Was that a good feeling?
That is clear, yes, but everybody has to respect the rules, yes, and when they do something, I don't know exactly what happened, but when they don't accept the rules, the marshals had decided, the stewards had decided, so we are in a better way. When the cars are too quick and they have done something, okay. That's the rules.
well, I wish you all the best. Good luck with your brake pad and disc change in under 2 minutes. Yeah. And thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Charlie, the Dirk team and the team manager there for Team Phoenix. Of course, the owner of that team, Ernst Moser, and I said earlier on, very successful, that team in the DTM. They've won the overall championship. They're one of the really trusted teams in the Audi family that run the factory cars for them in the DTM, along with Rosberg and Abt. But they're also the go-to team for Audi when it comes to the Nürburgring 24 hours, which they won, I think, a couple of years, and have also won in this champ. They were champions here in this championship in 2012. They're also running some rallycross cars as well. So a terrific team, Phoenix organisation, and what a great interview from Charlie. Some real insight there.
Right now, we have another insight, because it would appear that the team managers of cars number 6, 114, 666, 28, 52, 100, 49, 90, 19 and 76 have all been invited to a nice little chat in race control.
Well, I wonder what that's all about, and I should think they'll have to queue up. It's going to take quite a while to cycle through all those. Could be driving time.
It's either that or a hand of bridge.
Oh, yeah. give them a beer, or speeding in the pit lane or something like that. Well, I hope soon we'll be going again. Well, we did have that message from race control that it would take a while for this this fix. My old Armco taking a bit of a battering, and I don't think with the yellows we've had, or the long yellows we've had, Neville, that this is going to be a record-breaking race in terms of distance, to be frank.
It's interesting that one looks at the results of this, and I have, in fact, been able to purchase a book on Spa and 24-hour races at Spa, which goes right the way back to the very first one, and it's available from all good booksellers and what have you, I will tell you, but I won't go into it anymore because I'm not selling to the chap. He's a very nice guy. However, there's no question about it that it tells you the stories of the whole of the history of this race. But to me, right now, the very fact that we have this type of racing with what to me is the Blank Pain Series is the blue ribbon, not only of the business that the Frenchman represents, but I think it's one of the best 24-hour races I've ever been to. I'm sitting here now, I have the faintest idea who's going to ring this. Do you?
I've been to a few 24-hour races in my time. Silverstone and
But it usually settles down, doesn't it? You know something's going to happen, and you sort of think, oh, well, that's it. But this has been just, you can't really sort of say, well, no, it's ever so easy. Dang.
And top runners, we just saw there as we're cycling through the results here. You know, the 0-0 car, a car that we thought would be in contention, and there's so many news stories. So I'm filling the websites with all this, plenty of headlines. So you're going all the way through, you can see on your screen, and right down to the people that DNF'd there, just a handful of them.
Yes, not many cars actually have notified the organisers that they are retiring full stop, but it has happened in, as far as we can see, 3 cases. Whether there will be more, well, I'm pretty much sure there will be.
But I'd like this race to get underway again, so we'd have some...
I want to get it underway again because I feel that it can happen.
58 is coming into the pits.
As is number 7 as well, one of the Bentleys. He's just pulled in. I noticed the driver getting out right then. This is the Guy Smith car. Guy, of course, was the Le Mans 24-hour race winner in 2003, and a young man who came up through the Vauxhall series and chose to go down the line of driving sports and GT cars and made a very good decision as far as I can see.
Had a lot of success out in America with Dyson Racing. I mean, did race a lot of single-seaters, even raced in the Indy Light Series in America. And Guy's also done some historic rallying as well. So here we are, the number 6 car. And see, the flashing is a bit confusing because it says 1 at one stage, and it seems to say STI. Maybe that's something. It's got a problem, obviously. But giving us a message. And look at that, waiting for the right amount of time,
that's it.
and
Right.
off he goes.
Fine. Didn't want it to start. Determined it's got to do its minutes. Otherwise, it has a journey back in again.
So Winkelhock into the car. Frank Stickler out of the car, former winner of this race. I think, just going from memory now, I think Winkelhock has won this race as well in the past. I just need to check the old notes on that one.
I'm not sure it was, though it might be. Hang on, I've got the results in front of me. Which I should have done, but it gives me a chance to sort of say.
So anyway, Winkelhock is in the lead car. Soucek in the second-placed Bentley, and Charlie's hearing us. Charlie, I think it's a couple of people we'd like to hear from, but I'd like to hear particularly from the McLaren team, right at the very end of the old pits there. Might be able to catch up with Andrew Cacoldi or Chris Goodwin. I know Chris was Chris, who's part of that team, owns part of that team, Neville, also is the chief test driver for McLaren Road Cars. He's been doing some work in Barcelona. He flew in, I think, last night. And I know he's going back there. He might still be around, but there's been plenty of the drivers. Rob Bell, I think is Rob still in that car at the moment? No, he's not. They've gone. So Rob might still be around. I think he's just climbed out of it. Of course, in the 58 car now is a young driver they've effectively discovered, and that is Comme Ledegar, who's been a star man in the Porsche Carrera Club France series, and has been picked up by the team managed by Philippe Dumas, who is a very influential guy in French motor racing, also the team director of Oak Racing. So this pit lane looks so busy again. Look at all this.
Yep, still busy.
All happening, and they're all just trying to get their cars in absolutely tip-top conditions where they can start racing again. And in the cycling through there, Nev, look, the Bentley, number 8, is in the lead, and the Winkelhock car after that pit stop.
That's literally just happened.
Just happened, yep. And,
literally just happened.
In second place, the Team WRT, Frederick Vervish, Dries van Thor, Will Stevens car. So Will Stevens, former Grand Prix driver, suddenly in the real contention for this. And there you see the 01 number 1 position flashing on the Kessel car, which of course leading the Pro-Am at the moment.
Audi is still very much in the hunt with car number 1. Interestingly enough, there's nobody actually going to give an awful lot away here. We've got BMW with number 99.
There's the Bentley. I mean, it says 2 on the windscreen. On our timing screen, it says it's in first position.
Yep.
Safety car in this lap.
Safety car, that's what I wanted to hear. Safety car in this lap.
Yep.
And we're going to go racing again. How long was that one?
Well, it was a long one.
Almost an hour, I think.
Yep. But with the safety car coming in, we shall be going back into racing. Now, we were saying when this started that it was a question of getting your concentration back, getting your tyres back, getting the problems that you're picking up from having to go offline where you get the marbles on them and things like this, and trying to get everything in the car working, but particularly yourself switched on again to race pace. And it's all about to happen any minute now. When the pace car pulls into the pit road, then it will release the leader who will be behind the pace car at the moment, and that leader is the Bentley.
Safety car lights off. Safety car lights off.
Well, that's very
there
clear.
It is with
just
the
one
lights
thing,
off.
Nev, just to stop you a moment. One car that's for the first time we've seen up in the top 10 is the number 75 ISR team Audi from the Czech Republic. And the father's running the team, but one of the drivers, of course, is his son, Philip Salaquada. Edo Mortara, one of the stars of the DTM and former Formula 3 champion.
Green flag,
and
green
Marlon
flag.
Stockinger in that car. And that's just crept up there, a bit under the radar, really, that one. And in 9th place is the another Audi, and that's
in goes the pace car, green flag waved.
Well, thank you, Nev. So this order could change around. Look,
I'm sure it will very quickly.
I mean in the next lap or seconds or so.
Yeah, in the next 100 yards.
Cycles and all that phalanx of Ferraris there, down 38, 39.
And all the gaps, of course, have closed down. And people who had 30, 40 seconds or so to make up now are on the pace and very anxious to do what they can to get a bit further up.
But everybody wanting to get back into racing mode. Let's see who's going to have a big push now. Maxime Martin knows this circuit so well. As I said, his father won the race at the past. Wouldn't he love to repeat his father's performance?
Oh, yeah.
Winkelhock, one of the most experienced men with a bit of a Formula 1 history behind him, there in second place. And then In the Bentley in third place now, the number 8 car. I've got Maxime Soulet, who's a good strong runner. In fourth place, the number 1, who is in the number 1 car now. I think it's Dries van Thor, the 18-year-old younger brother of Laurens van Thor.
There's a very urgent desire here to improve on his position. I'm not quite sure whose this camera car is, but my goodness me, he's trying hard enough.
I've just swapped, haven't we, gone to the McLaren? Well, I think was it one of the BMWs?
I think it was. I think it was 58, actually. I think it was. That's a guesstimation that it was McLaren. And I think it was Giesbergen, Bobby Bell, Giesbergen car.
Yeah, he's been in the car for a long time now. I mean, Bell's done a great long stint here. A long stint. He's done maybe he's...
And you can see the green light. That's telling the drivers that they are under green now, so they can get on with the job. And true to form, that's exactly what they're doing.
Man we haven't spoken much of, though, in 10th place. Just climbed into the Mercedes Black Falcon car, winner of the Nürburgring 24 hours this year, Adam Christodoulou from the British Midlands. So I think he must be of some Greek heritage, I'm sure. And Ricky Christodoulou, of course, is a racing cousin. Interesting to see what sort of lap times they put down as we go racing again. There's the 99 car, but look, it's all closed up here.
The 99 car back in the lead, indeed, at the moment. So that's worked out for him.
It has, and I think the gaps. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what time screen's telling me. But let's get this lap out of the way, and then we'll get a feel for the gaps and how everybody is running.
It's got to settle a little bit first, hasn't it? Sort of before we can get a handle on it.
Of course, you've got in the mix quite a lot of lap runners.
Number 6, that car is in second place. The Bentley is still in third place.
Coming up there, in the Pro-Am, there's only 1.8 seconds between the leading Mercedes, the 89, and the 2 Lamborghinis chasing it.
And I know that's the Bell car, because if you look, for those of you who've been looking through the windscreen of this car, as I have when we've had the camera into it, the windscreen is something that the first thing they're going to want to do when they get it back in the pits for its next scheduled stop is to clean that screen up, because it's absolutely horrific at the moment. The fly infestation of Belgium seems to have found this car alone.
Car 101, a Temto Racing Lamborghini of Babini Niederhausen, man with a lot of GP3 experience. Daniel Zampieri is under investigation, and 14 has fallen into the gravel trap. Number 14, so maybe that's a Lamborghini of the one that was battled for the lead early on, Mirko Bortolotti, Jerome Bleekemolen and Ralph Ineschen. So the 14 car, just see, can you see that on the timing screen now? Who's at the wheel of that
wheel
car at
of
the moment?
14 car now. Well, you've got to dip down quite
14 in the gravel.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a Jaguar. What I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Getting late. That's
the 114 is the Jaguar.
No, 14 and 114.
And 14. Oh, that's the other Jaguar.
That's the Stefano Ortelli, Albert Costa, Lorenz Fry one. Grandson of the founder driving it.
They're also 101. That's the Babini Niederhausen Zampieri car. That's another of the Lamborghinis. He has been a naughty boy and has a little investigation going on as to his conduct under the safety car procedure.
And the 14, it's former Le Mans winner Stefano Ortelli who's dropped it in the gravel. Ortelli, of course, till last year with the WR team, had a lot of success with them, now helping develop this Jaguar program for the Swiss team. And Stefan been around sports car racing for so long. Won the Le Mans 24 Hours with Porsche.
I'm surprised that it's still in the gravel without some attempt being made to
Well, we
take
don't
it out
know
of
that,
the gravel.
do we? It just says
We don't
in the
know
gravel,
yet.
and it's not on our timing screen anymore. So
No.
presumably it's out of the gravel. It now says a 56 is in the gravel. So we think that the car battling for the lead, car 6 with Winkelhock, is in the pits. We believe it had a puncture, and I think that is it leaving the pits, leaving some very elaborate black lines. And, well...
Oh, yes, you can see the result of the
yeah,
puncture.
still smoking.
Yeah.
And it's taken away probably quite a bit of gravel out on the track now after so many people have been in the kitty litter. He's just about to get back up to speed.
And that will go into the back of the pit. The wheel will be taken off, and they will...
But interesting, Dave. Let's watch. See, will it go and drop a couple of places? It's so tight at the front, particularly after this long yellow.
They'll be trying to ascertain why that tyre went. And no doubt they'll have a very logical answer to it when they've done so.
It's just wiggling the wheel, see what the feel of the car is. There is your leader, lighting up his front discs in the BMW. A lot of BMW successes in this race, Nev, obviously last year, but going back, famous days of the BMW 635 CSLs, of course, Batmobiles. A lot of success here. I think you
I can
checking
remember
that out earlier.
I filmed an awful lot of those in the days when the Jaguars and the Rovers were fighting it out with the BMWs. And not a lot of people know that it was not actually in a BMW that my old friend Hans Stuck won here with Jochen Mass. I think it was in 1972, 73.
Right.
Which was his first major victory.
Yeah. And of course, Hans in Britain just a few days ago as a 98 with Nicky Katzberg at the wheel. Sounds very talented Dutch driver. Has been around quite a long time, but his career really taken a burst forward in the last year or so. Nicky Katzberg.
Standing pit stop.
Look at this. Look at this battle. Look at the 8 car right in the middle of that. So many manufacturers. There's a championship with so many manufacturers in it as this.
Yeah, they're telling us who has had the long pit stops here. That's what the standing pit stop is.
Yeah.
And I can't obviously read all of them to you because they've gone through 4 or 5 of them. But example, I can tell you 41, 2, 3 and 4.
51 obviously made a quick one.
We know 51 made a quick one. But a lot of people have had to or will have taken advantage of the 5-minute one. And you can see here that here is down the side there, M6 BMW, Bentley and Audi, first, second and third right now, but it's all going to change again, I fear, in a minute or two.
Incident between car 56 and 14 is being investigated, and that is
14 is the Jaguar, again, which was in the kitty litter, and I'm not
the
quite
black
sure who's with him.
it's the black Falcon car, the I think the Monaco-based Briton Oliver Morley, Miguel Turrell from Spain, Abdulaziz Al Faisal, and Danny Juncadella's professional driver in that car, one of the DTM runners. Abdulaziz Al Faisal, grandfather, is the king of Saudi Arabia. However, he's got a lot of grandsons.
Say no more.
Mercedes
having an argument with Jaguar.
That more great onboard and gives it quite a lot of curb through there.
You can hear there was because he was curbing the car, and that's what you could hear hitting the bottom of the car. This is Bobby Bell still. How do I know that, you may say? Well, I can see the number and I can see the smudge on the windscreen, and I know he must be due another stop soon, and Woody got a bit sideways then, but corrected it very quickly.
Who do you think it was?
I'm sure it's Bobby Bell.
Who's Bobby Bell?
the driver of car number 58. I'll get there.
Rob Bell.
Rob Bell.
And he's not in the car, it's Ledegaard.
Are you
Get up
sure?
to speed.
Well, you told me a minute or two ago. No, you didn't. It was me. I decided he hadn't changed.
Bobby
Rather-
Bell is a bloke that sells Lotuses
Yes,
and
I know.
raced a lot of
Different Bell.
historic cars,
Yes, different Bell.
including a
No,
McLaren
different Bell,
Can-Am.
not the Bell and Colville Bell. I know
No,
that.
right, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
know
Rob Bell,
better.
but he's not in the
Yeah.
car. He did a fine job.
No, we think this is Shane Gisbert.
No, he's not. It's the Frenchman, the
Is it?
ex-Porsche Carrera Cup champion, Ledegaard, who was drafted in
Well,
the
they're
team
still-
this year.
Yeah, they still haven't cleaned the windscreen.
And I still haven't cleaned the windscreen. He took over from Kevin Estre because Estre went back to Porsche.
Yeah.
And he is managed, as I said, by a very influential French gentleman, Philippe Dumas. And he suggested that the team give him a try, and Ledegaard will be doing a good job, I think.
Yeah. It's still suggested that 56 is still in the gravel,
Aha.
but not necessarily as 14.
I think 56 will be, and he must be out of the way, though.
Yeah.
This is a battle here with the 56 car, the 58 car, pushing hard here. I think did he just pass him there? Look at this, great action out on the track then as we finally got going again after that long yellow, and Ledegaard really pushing hard now, trying to make up some positions. That McLaren team, of course, leading the Endurance Championship at the moment. And remember, points in this race, Nev, at 6 hours, 12 hours and 24. If you got it absolutely all right and got pole position as well, you get a maximum of 50, because this race counts a lot more points than the 3-hour races,
Yeah.
the 6-hour races. And if we were really clever, we could work out the positions at 6 hours and then do the current points championships.
Very
But we're not that clever.
No, we're not. Any more than we've been able to work out quite quickly that at 3 o'clock we actually still haven't got to half distance.
No, that's true. That's true. And that, of course, when the next
Yeah.
lot of points kick in.
Yeah.
Maybe then we'll try and work it out. No promises. So, great shots on board in the 58 car. And now coming up into a lot of traffic. Look, could have some interesting stuff. We've got Bertrand Baguette in front of him, drafted into that 4 car at the very last moment.
Yes,
The
and
last moment in the last week.
yeah, and
Bertrand
he's rather hoping that he will perhaps, if not trip over one of the back markers, may make an effort that doesn't come off.
Yeah, well, look at this action there. And, yeah, Baguette,
Oh, yes.
man who's raced in the Indianapolis 500, had a lot of success in single-seaters, and I think just lives in Verviers, which is pretty well the next town down the road from here. So very much a local man, and Baguette knows his way around here. All go hot down the 6 car, and they're all in a pretty tight bunch now. Winkelhock, Baguette, and the McLaren. That's a real trade, isn't it?
Yeah, and it has a mate.
Okay, let's go down to the M Sport garage.
Okay, so with Malcolm Wilson from Bentley Racing. So rallying motorsport here at Spa, such a difference. Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Literally, I set off this morning to come from Finland. We've got a World Championship rally event going on there at the moment. So, yeah, I left there with still one day of the rally to go. We're in 4th position with possible chance to get on the podium tomorrow with one of our guys. And then here for the 24 hours as well. So I'm sure by the end of it, I'm going to be pretty tired.
You are going to be pretty tired, definitely. Doing pretty well today, though, but, a bit of a dodgy start, though, with the car number 7, wasn't it, with the fuel pump issue, which is a real shame.
Yeah, I mean, when you think the comeback that they've made, considering the start from the pit lane, it's been a great effort by everybody. It's just really disappointing that you find something so close to the start of the race when you think you've gone through everything, you've checked everything, but as they say, that's motorsport.
No, definitely. So you're doing pretty well. So 2nd and 11th, I think?
Yeah, I think that's roughly where we are at the moment, and yeah, but obviously a long way to go.
Brilliant. Well, listen, sorry to disturb you. You look like you were deep in thought with your drivers there listening to the pit radio, so thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. All right. Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
Malcolm Wilson then, fine rally driver in his day, put together the most magnificent outfit at W Hall up in Cockermouth in the Lake District. Built absolutely phenomenal business, builds an awful lot of rally cars, not just for the WRC, for all kinds of different championships all around the world.
But runs a very tight ship, and you know, it's not it all looks, doesn't it, simple, but it's not. And we've been very lucky in UK, as I'm sure many of you who are listening to us, when you look at the number of people whom we've had over the last few years have been able to prepare racing cars or rally cars to a degree of success internationally that cannot really be equalled by anybody else, I don't think. I don't think there's any other country that's produced quite so much talent.
Quick times coming at the moment from Marcus Winkelhock, just at 2:21.33 in 4th place, so closing up on the Audi in front of him by 3 seconds on that previous lap.
That was very tight.
And somebody else going very quickly actually is way down in 24th place, but one of those very quick group of Italians that race for AF Corsa, Michel Rugolo, one of the quickest guys out there at the moment. He just did a 2:24. Yeah. Pretty
Very,
good gap
very
between
close.
6th and 7th places, 5 seconds between those two cars. That's Winkelhock and Baguette. But Winkelhock, as I said, putting in some blistering laps at the moment, and closing up on the Audi, which is in front of him. Frederick Vervisch at the wheel at the moment.
Yes, there are some quick times on the board there, and there's no doubt about it that this is a battle that's ongoing.
A whole list of people told to respect track limits again. They're not backing off this situation. They're car 41, 42, 3, 26 and 14 must respect track limits, or they could be getting a stop-go penalty,
which is the last
or
thing
a
you want.
drive-through.
Yeah.
Depending on how many warnings they've had before.
Huge effort being made here to try and change this situation.
Maxime Soulet at the wheel of the Bentley, just heard from Malcolm Wilson there. He's just dipped into under the 220s now in 2nd place, having a bit of a push to try and close up on the BMW of Maxime Martin of the Rowe Racing team.
No, I think that 2:19 was much earlier. That's his best.
Sorry, yeah, I'm misreading. Yeah, my apologies. 2:23. He's just done.
Yeah.
Who's the quickest man out there at the moment? Then
I'm just having a quick scan down to see if there's anybody lower down.
Guys starting to go
quickly.
a bit at this time of night, Nev.
You'd be surprised. It's nice.
But I was right about Rugolo running down there in 24th. He's putting in some quick times. And this is a battle for positional lights flashing here.
And I think that's done as much to shall we say, worry him as to pass him.
Intimidation, that is.
Yeah.
Remember,
and meanwhile, up behind comes a Bentley.
Yeah. Famous NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt was called the Intimidator.
And if you look at that Bentley, I mean, it looks a big car, but it obviously, while it is a big car, is not overtly heavy, and is, of course, not a brand new design, and that's one on the stocks for them to manufacture shortly, but he really is in the business here, and the Bentleys have surprised me how well they've gone over the whole of this meeting. They really have gone very, very
Well, a long
well.
way to go yet.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting right stuck in behind that Nissan. That previous incident that they were looking at with 2 cars, no action to be taken. But here we are on board around the magnificent Spa circuit. Brake lights absolutely lighting up the road, look. And just nice to listen to the engine note, isn't it,
Yeah.
Dave?
Oh, yeah. And he's trying so hard to get up the inside there, but nobody wanted to know.
We're riding in the 84 car
Yeah.
with Bauman in 8th place.
He's managed it now on the inside.
Yeah, well, he's having a big push to try and close on the Adam Christodoulou driven Mercedes. Into Mercedes battle going on between the 57 and 84. And 2 rival Mercedes teams, one from HTP Motorsport, the other from the Black Falcon team. Another dash of sparks there.
Yes, it's the compression as you come down the hill and back
Into
up
Eau
again.
Rouge,
there.
yeah. It's one of the greatest corners anywhere in
Yeah,
the world
got to
in
be.
motor racing, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely terrific shots. Still riding with 84. Oh, here, now we're on board with the number 2 Bentley, look.
Yeah, he doesn't have as nice a spread towards the apexes of the corner as we've seen with some cars.
Just dropping a little bit of time here,
Yeah.
half a second to the leading BMW. In the process, pulling away from the 3rd place Audi, but Winkelhock closing up on his fellow 4-ring driver. Winkelhock in 4th place. Oh, look at that! Oh, was that a
Yes.
good save? Did he save it?
Well, I don't think
completely
he's
sideways.
Don't think he's spun, but I think he's on the grass. I don't think that it went down particularly well.
Love to see that again.
With the drivers. I'm not sure who was driving 75 at the time.
75.
Well, it was
I think it was Edo Mortara.
Mortara. Well,
I mean, hugely experienced DTM winner, Formula 3 champion.
well, he certainly
Did he get a tap?
received a fairly heavy tap up the back.
Yeah, we're going to see it, look.
Looks
So
like
Seb-
we're going for a replay. Yep, this is it. As you can see, closes in. He's gone for the inside, but then I don't
Goes out
think,
there.
quite frankly,
He tapped him, didn't he?
yeah, he tapped him. I don't think he saw him. I don't think he realised he was coming up. Yeah,
Well, I think that was... love that bit of footage.
yeah.
So, Edo Mortara finding out what racing in the night's all about. He's done a few 24-hour races.
He hasn't
for Audi,
appeared
but
in
he's
some of the-
primarily a DTM racer. Edo, lovely
hasn't-
guy.
Yeah, it hasn't appeared as somebody who's in the kitty litter, so he obviously
No.
carried on.
There's the Bentley team. Just got some nice chairs to relax in.
Well, I'm sure they have softer bottoms than the bottom of my chair that I'm sitting on here, which has
Coventry
caused
one.
me to
Should
get
have
we should have a little...
Should have bought my Wimbledon,
Yes, definitely.
little foam pad with me.
Yes, that's definitely needed one.
And yeah, Martin, you know, Maxime Martin doing an absolutely outstanding job at the moment because he's increasing the lead at the front over the Bentley.
Yep, well, he is.
Then we've got the 2 Audis. Indeed, we've got the 3 Audis.
Yep.
And then after that, we've got the McLaren. And then we've got the 57 Black Falcon Mercedes. That's the best of the Mercedes.
Yeah, well, BMW, you know, who have got an enviable record here, do seem pretty well to have the legs of most people. Even at the moment, they're lapping quicker than the only other guy who's got his boot into it good and hard is the other opposition, who of course was in the lead a while ago, number 6. And this is the Christopher Miles car. This is the Audi, and that has just done quite a quick lap.
Christopher Mice.
Just looking at the last lap. If you look at the last laps, the leader did 2:21, and he was the only guy to break the 22 barrier, but there's some people fairly close to it at the moment.
Here we are, just looking down the pitch with that camera. And we think this could be the prime leader. Anyway, the car is Lamborghini. It's a Conrad racing car, number 29. And you'll know the name Gounon. Well, this is not Jules Gounon. This is his young son, who's been racing in the French Porsche Carrera Cup. And I saw him out at Daytona last November, racing in a historic event in a wonderful old Corvette. So Franz Conrad running that car, run lots of Porsches over the years, nearly always in that Franz Conrad colour. And there was did tell me a story about an Austrian driver, and always has that BioCircle sponsorship. But this is the first time for years that he hasn't run. He still runs Porsches, but he's running this Lamborghini.
And he still drives occasionally too, doesn't
and,
he?
He does, yeah. And did race for Jaguar, of course, as well, Franz. But all the time, Nev, Maxime Martin in the 99 BMW is just inching away, and here's the position 3 car in the pits. Now, are they just putting one time? Are they doing one? No, they're not. I thought maybe they were going to do one of those quicker pit stops, but they're not. A bit of shouting going on. Sticker tyres. You see the actual. See why they're called sticker tyres. You see the stickers on them. Just 2 guys doing this here. It's hard work. They've coordinated this in the workshop, and they continue to do it. Look, in the WRT car. Do you know what? WRT, twice a day, a bell rings and they practice pit stops. And they've got a special, it's not a full car they do it on. And
Andrew, it wouldn't be good for my back.
well, and yeah, the
it's going in.
It's going in now.
Now
this is a big
an
surprise.
interesting one.
Are they going to do the brakes? I think they're doing the mandatory here. Look, are they?
Yes, well, no, it was a decision that really they're taking at the wrong time, because they were going to take the wheels off.
Well,
and
yeah,
left them off,
you would have put it in first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You would have put it in first. If you're going to do the brakes, you would have pushed the car in, and you would have had those. There's
they've got
some problem.
Yeah, they've got a problem.
I bet Charlie's at the other pits at the moment. It's always the way, isn't it?
That is a brake disc we have got there.
Well, they have, yes, but why did they?
But why put the tyres on?
I think they're going to do. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. I'll just do the fronts. And this team will have practiced this as well, I can promise you. What did we hear the other team manager say? 2 minutes. But well, WRT are so well practiced and run like a military regime. So we've got a car here with a left front puncture.
A nice new road of tank tape
and it's,
being used.
it's the is that the 60 McLaren? Yep. 59 McLaren, sorry, that is Alex Fontana, that's the Academy car, and it's way down the field, as you can see, in 51st place, and be interesting to go back to the WRT pit.
Pause for Hay to have a sneeze.
Francois-
This is it. We've got the one list on the one side here.
Francois Verbist, the team manager, son of founder of the company, Rennie. This team once won this race in 2011 and, of course, 14. They won the Zolder 24 hours in 11 and 12. They won the Nürburgring 24 hours in 15. They won the Sepang 12 hours in 15. They've already won a 24-hour race this year in Dubai. So this is absolutely a top squad. But I wanted to amaze you because that special rig they've got for changing, for practicing the changes of the tyres, has actually got a nickname, and I did have it written down. I can't find it at the moment. Never mind. It's called something like Eleanor or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. I'm just watching it parade down the pit road of these two, which saw one at one end and the other one down the other end of the pits, both R8s.
That number one car's dropped out of the top 10, you see, with this.
He has. He's dropped out of it. He's dropped a long way back too in this.
I'm so surprised, Nev, that this is happening now. How old is this race? Nowhere near halfway
It's
through.
nowhere near half distance.
You know, the normal. I wonder if I have to do another.
And we had people telling us, you know, they'd go through. They'll go through without changing brakes at all. You know.
They were kidding you.
Yeah, I know they were.
Yeah. But Le Mans these days, prototypes will go through the race without a brake change. They're light cars. Obviously, these GT3 machines will not. But I'm so surprised they're doing it now.
Well, I'm surprised about that. And of course, the other thing about
meanwhile, the 59 is sitting there without
car 8
any
and car
tyres on.
75 under investigation. Incident between car 8 and 75 under investigation.
8 and 75, the Bentley.
The Bentley and 75, if Nev can flip the page up a bit quick, is that's an Audi. The Audi of
Mortara.
Yeah.
And that's the incident we saw on screen.
Yes.
With a Mortara also. Dear. This is not how we expect WRT to operate. Look.
Yeah. It was where he had a bit of assistance, wasn't it? He helped him.
Yeah. So that's good. 59 going back into the garage without any wheels on, the Academy car. The 60 made any sort of progress. Just couldn't get a good setup on that 60.
Yeah, the McLaren is being recalcitrant, wasn't it? I wonder.
The 60, Durrani is at the wheel at the moment. Pippo Durrani, the Brazilian. And there's a puncture, look.
Yeah.
And Durrani, winner outright of the Spa, of the Sebring 12 hours, Daytona 24 hours this year. And sort of lap times he's doing in a car that he's not used to, a lot less downforce. 2:23 at the moment, and way down the field. Whereas the one that Rob Bell did such a good job in, Ledegar is going along pretty nicely at the moment. In fact, we haven't noticed that with all this going on in the pits. That McLaren is up to 4th place, the 58 car.
Yes, it is.
Tom Ledegar, Frenchman, made his mark in the Carrera Cup in France. Been elevated to the McLaren team and doing a fine job. The other lap times sticking out. 100 car, which has been running pretty well in class. In fact, he's leading its class and he's in the pits at the moment.
Number 8.
Racing Lamborghini. So that class leader might lose that position.
Yeah, second place car number 8, the Bentley, is one of the cars that's under investigation, by the way. And also...
Last lap was
team managers of car number 49 and 101 are required to go and see the headmaster.
And a spin here. There you are. Is that the 63 car that is just spun off there? How do you do that? So yeah, one of the Grasser racing team. Lamborghini's had a few adventures. And
on the grass.
Yeah, that's one of the Pro-Am cars.
Yeah.
Diego Alesi, Nicholas Polo. As the leader comes in, look, and Row Racing going to make a driver change as well. Terrific effort by Martin. I think Philip Eng is climbing on board, the Austrian, as the Belgian climbs out. And well, I would love to hear from him if Charlie can get up to Row. I'm not sure which pits he's in at the moment. But, Martin did a fabulous job.
Right. So,
green lights at the front of the car.
Tyres taken out. You carry a new one and then go back and pick up another one and stick that back on, and now we've got to repeat the performance on the one. What to you and I is the offside, but to chaps over here is the near side. And away to go.
So, all happening here. Well, let's see what happened right at the beginning.
Yep, it all started at 4:30 this afternoon, and down came the parachute and out went the cars.
Yeah, and a mega entry of 65 cars starting the race, and rolling start, Rennie Rast into the lead. And then the green Lamborghini in second place, Bortolotti, a man with lots of single-seater success, the first man to drop it into the gravel. There he is, and a very experienced man indeed, who did that as the Mercedes went out.
Soon regained the circuit, but actually taking the opportunity to put in their 5-minute stop were the entire Mercedes entry. And everybody said, well, will they actually get anywhere near the lead? And it seemed to be the opinion of most that it was going to take at least 8 hours before they would. Well, that seemingly is not too far wrong.
Yeah, just, of course, it was Siegfried who was in the gravel there. And this is a car that battled for the lead early on, but not up near the front now, the Ferrari of Per Guidi. And we had a lot of changes, didn't we, Nev, in the opening stages of this race?
There have been a few incidents and a few close calls, but this is where it all went wrong, as the Ferrari that Fisichella was due to take over played no further part in the race.
And they're limping away, a factory Porsche driver. And Fizzy not a happy man.
No, not a happy man, but cheerful enough to be, shall we say, supportive of the team.
Yeah, Kevin Estra, of course, there tagging the Japanese driver, and the barrier was badly damaged, and the crew, not for the first but not for the last time, had to do a big rebuild. But then once it all got going again, then it was Row Racing out in front.
People ask, why does it take so long? It's a simple matter that really you've got to do the job properly, because if you don't secure the barrier properly and there is another incident, if the barrier is not there, it can in fact cause even worse problems.
We had the Bentley in the lead, number 8, which has seen the McLaren just before then, was certainly in the hunt, as it still is now.
Actually leading at the moment on our list here.
Yes, right now it is leading, and the 7 car also being well up front. We thought rain was coming. In fact, it did come very briefly, and that brought out the huge surprise of this Jaguar, which just seemed to love that greasy track, into the lead briefly, and it was very briefly.
Drive-through penalty, car 132. did not respect the red light at pit exit.
So that's live, our race director. There is the 6 car, which has also been in the hunt the whole time, having a period in the lead. The 7 Bentley also doing well, but this one of the 2 Jaguars, Emil Frey Racing, coming in. He's getting a great shot, and then again that 50 car in trouble.
For Jaguar, this had been a really good race. The car due for an update in the near future had proven itself to be as quick enough to be on terms with everybody else.
Throughout our coverage, we've been having some great onboard shots, particularly from the 58 car with Rob Bell doing an outstanding job for the McLaren team. But well backed up, and we haven't seen too much of Shane van Gisbergen in that car yet. We had a private Bentley into the barrier.
It took a while to sort it out, and we also had another puncture, which made things difficult.
The Boots and BMW had a puncture, went back into the garage area, and that car lost a lot of time, but is now up to, I think, 53rd position.
Where we had the problem before, we had one all over again, and once again the truck was out, and once again the Armco was subject to repair. And while all this was going on, spare a thought for the guys who fit and refit the onboard cameras, because when a car retires, it's taken out of one car and put it in another, and of course you have to do all sorts of things to keep them in service throughout the race. They go without sleep the entire 24 hours.
Now this was an important incident here, because the Jaguar then taking the René Rast Audi, and that was a potential winner, and there is the 28 car,
which went through quite a battering and eventually was repaired and get back in.
But the top squad, that
car 38 pit stop infringement.
Well, these penalties are coming thick and fast, as you can hear. The fireworks went off, we had the dry ice, the band was playing. I wonder if that was the band that's backing the Mercedes, of course, Lincoln Park. Yeah. Were they playing here? Maybe they were, Andy Soucek.
Jaguar 114, which was put out in that incident, spent a long time in the pits.
And the Grasser Lambo was in the gravel again.
And the Jaguar rejoined and now has got up as high as 59th place. Another spin, another Bentley.
Yeah, Team Parker really in the wars.
And about to take it back again.
But always, if not at the front, in the top 2 or 3. Pro Racing with their BMW factory driver, Alexander Sims, climbs out. And then the car back in the fray. Look, Alexander Sims got a round of applause. Yet another yellow flag, yet another long wait after the crash of the 24. The other Team Parker Bentley, Ian Logie, putting it into the barrier and putting that car out of the race entirely.
Safety car out again, a long train as brakes were changed and pit stops were made, and everyone tried as far as humanly possible not to lose too much time with the servicing that was required for each of the cars. Green flag again, and it was back up to racing. This time the Bentleys were still back in the hunt, as was indeed number 99, the very quick and seemingly very reliable BMW, which seemed to lead very happily for quite a long time, but has now slid back to second. In third place at the moment, it's the Audi Sport car, and holding on to it.
Yeah, the one having a brake change at the total 24 hours of Spa. Let's check out the current results, because everything is changing around very quickly, and Bentley in the lead at the moment, the 8 car. The BMW's dropped to second. The Team Phoenix Audi is third. The McLaren Garage 59 is fourth. Then it's the Black Falcon Mercedes-Benz. That's the highest we've seen one of those up with Hubert Howard, Krista Dulu. Then the second Bentley, then another Mercedes, then the next of the BMWs. Then Salaquada in the Audi, his father's team, Bortolotti. After being in the wars, it's up in 10th place. And here in 13th place, another HTP Motorsport Mercedes-Benz. Then a WWRT Audi, the number 2 car. Robin Fringe, a very quick driver in that car. Then our Thai driver, Rugalo, been going very quickly and moving up the field. And again, various Lamborghinis. Pereira going well with Nicolas Lapierre, the former Toyota factory WEC driver up there in that 17th place car. And Jaguar still up there now in 17th place. Conrad Motorsport have been leading in the Pro-Am category, going through the various cars which are still running, only about 3. The Minshaw, Keane, Gavin Osborne Lamborghini was going well, but has been in the wars. That's Oliver Gavin, who recently gave Corvette, was it their 300th win in America, something like that. Another car that we've talked to quite a lot, the 48 Aston Martin Oman racing car. That's now 10 laps down. Drive-through penalty, by the way, for car 38. That's been one of the stories of the race. And that's the first 48, and then Lamborghini from the Bratislava team in 49th place. Over 52 Audi, Bonomi lost a lot of time with electrical problems. The Moore, Fontana, Watson, McLaren, that's had various mechanical problems. The 58 car, that Pierce crashed at, I think, if I remember rightly. And here's the last few cars, including some DNFs there. So, still a lot of cars on the track, and still a big battle going on. But we can go down to McLaren now and catch up.
Okay, Andrew, an unscheduled pit stop there with one of your cars. Tell us what happened.
I'm not entirely sure what went on. We just had a radio call from the 59 car to say that he'd made contact with a slower car. One of the difficulties with this race, and also with this car, the younger guys, it's the first time they've done this event. So, you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, like, there wasn't a lot of damage, but we had to take it in the garage, check it over, needed a tyre, and then off he went.
It looked like a front left puncher. It was scuffing as it came down the pit lane. Didn't sound too good, but it seemed quite a quick fix.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad in the end. I mean, just, you know, throw the bits at it, tape it up, and on you go.
On you go again. That's the 24-hour racing. So what's your involvement? You said there are young guys that are new to, you know, endurance racing. What's your involvement with that program?
I mean, I'm managing director of McLaren GT, so I look after the sort of, I don't know, development of the cars, building of the cars. And then you come along here and help out Garage 59, see how it goes. I mean, it's obviously a major race for us as a brand, and also, you know, we're leading the championship with Rob. We've had a great year so far, you know. Won Bathurst, we've won the 6 Hours of Paul Ricard, Monza, and it would really be amazing to win this one.
Are you still involved with the development of the driving? Because obviously I've known you for quite a few years now. You've driven a hell of a lot of cars and had a hell of a lot of championship wins. Are you still involved with the driving side of things?
Not so much these days, a little bit too much of this on, you know, but no, I drive a little bit, but not as much as before. I mean, we have factory drivers, and the reality is, you know, it's expensive to go racing, it's expensive for track time, so whenever we have track time, I always try and put our factory drivers in and give them as much experience as we can. So it's nice for me to go and do it, but I've got to let them do it these days.
Are you still enjoying your motorsport on the sidelines, watching, or very much involved? Obviously, you were there with nearly with the tank tape there, taking the tyre off.
Look, it's I think it's a hell of a lot harder this side. To be honest, I'd rather be driving. It's a lot less stress, but no, I enjoy it. Whatever it is, it's a really interesting thing. It's a really great team of guys here. And we've got a great team of guys back in Woking working bloody hard to get these cars out here. So, no, it is good, but it's very stressful.
Have you slept yet or not?
No, I don't think I will be.
Listen, Andrew, good to see you and good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Charlie, and I don't think he sleeps very much at all. Andrew Kirkcaldy is a little dynamo. On board then with the leader in the number 1 Bentley Continental GT3. Old-style Bentley Continental from the 1950s. Fetch a lot of money these days. A friend of mine owned one.
Certainly do. And
So-
these two, you can obtain if you really want one. There are 1 or 2 around, but much more reasonable figure because, of course, there are quite a lot of them that have been made. But they're very impressive indeed. And there is, of course, a Continental that's on the blocks. And when it comes out, I've got a fairly good feeling that we're going to be seeing out here, lighting the fire again for Brendan.
Love the grille of the car surrounded there by the LED lights. It means you can really pick that car out. So Maxime Soulet doing a very good job.
This is actually the car that has done the fastest lap in the whole of the race. It's the only car to have broken the 2:20 barrier. Now, it did that comparatively early on, but that isn't to say that it can't or couldn't do it again if it wanted to.
Yeah, Maxime leading this race, the Belgian. First did the event back in 2006 in a Corvette. Hasn't won here, has won the Zolder 24 hours. And there's raced quite a lot of different sports cars. A lot of Corvettes he's raced. Aston Martins, but now he's very much a Bentley boy. Maxime Soulet.
And indeed, the other Bentley is also going well, and that's currently in 6th place.
Yeah.
And both of Malcolm Wilson's cars really giving a very good account of themselves.
Absolutely doing a great job. The Sanilock team car just gone back in the garage there in 7th position. Is that 7th in the 7th in the Pro-Am. Here's a Team Parker car coming in. And that's the car that Derek Pierce back at the wheel, having had that incident when he
you
just
can
basically
see.
understeered into the barrier, didn't he?
You can see where it's taped up actually, and it's amazing what tank tape will do.
It is absolutely amazing what tank tape will do.
I many years ago was doing an RAC rally with a colleague.
Competing in it?
No, we were press following it, and my colleague who was driving at the time said, "We're not going to get round here," and we didn't.
We didn't.
We took it to a well-known Vauxhall agent. It wasn't a Vauxhall, whom we knew from the motor racing, once the British touring car champion.
Mr. John Cleland, no doubt.
His father came out with a large roll of tank tape and did such a good job that when my colleague took it back, he didn't even mention the fact he'd had the damage.
Just looking at, and this, a lot of this is to do with traffic, I think, but the 99 car in 2nd place just had dropped a few seconds. But a terrific Pro-Am battle going on here between the 74 and 11. A lot of changes in the Pro-Am battle, but 74 leading it at the moment. And this is Nicolas Lapierre, hugely successful driver, had a very good season in LMP2 this year, and he really is coming to terms. He's used to a very stiff racing car and a lot of downforce, which he's not, of course, getting here. He is putting in some lap times. Lapierre, of course, was sacked by Toyota from the WEC team. He's had to rebuild his career, and currently battling here with the number 11 Kessel Racing Ferrari. And well, they're actually off the screen now, but they are wheel to wheel of that battle for that class. And in the 11 car at the moment is Giacomo Puccini.
The only thing we can say about the night racing here so far is that, and I'm
not the only thing, a lot of things we could say about it.
No. Do you think I should touch wood? The only thing we can say is that we haven't had the promised shower of rain that we were told we were going to have, which called itself off very early on.
Yeah, we just had that very quick, almost flash shower, didn't we?
Yeah, and let's hope it stays like that.
Since then, the rain stayed away, and that's a great thing.
Let's hope it stays like that.
Now, I just wonder what's happened. Another slow lap, in the second place 99 car. What is going on with that?
Incident between cars 75 and 8, no further action. But the team managers of car number 1 and car number 4 are required to go chat with race control.
Join the queue.
Yes.
So 99's got Philip Enger in it at the moment. Very experienced guy, Philip Enger. I think he's the reigning Porsche Super Cup champion. I'm pretty sure he is, but just done 2 pretty slow laps. And I think Winkelhock in the 3rd place, number 6 Audi, is going to close in on the 99 car. Alexander Sims and Maxime Martin have done such a good job in.
It was Enger's father who, back in the 1980s, used to ride for BMW.
Could be. Must have been those 2 slow laps. Must have just been held up in traffic because he's just banged in at 2:21.894, which is the fastest lap of that race. I did mention Rugolo a couple of times. Really move it. He's another guy that really is on the move. Michel Rugolo in the 50 car and moving up the field. He's lapping the 2:21s. No one else is. And in fact, Eng dropped that time, but he's making it up again. So, but a lot of this is traffic, Nev. There's so many cars out there, and you can get held up. You know, you get held up at the bus stop. You know, you can drop 3 or 4 seconds. So.
We haven't got many cars now lapping in the 21s. 1 or 2 in the 22s. Yep.
Nobody further down the field.
Nobody further down the field. We can sort of look down and say, ain't he going quick, Dad?
Daniel Zampieri is in a Lamborghini, a name we know from single seaters. He is quick at the moment. He's down in 25th place. Zampieri, the 6-year-old Roman driver, former Italian Formula 3 champion. So look, that 6th place Bentley comes in, but we say it's in 6th place. Abril at the wheel as it came in. But I mean, this car is any of these top 10 cars are definitely in the hunt now, I think. Gary Paffett doing a good job at the moment, but just come into the pits, and he's got that Mercedes up into 11th place. Gary Paffett racing here in the dark for the very first time in his life. Never raced in the dark.
One of those drivers who went to drive in Germany quite early on in his career.
But at the same time was a McLaren test driver, and the year that Lewis Hamilton got the drive when he first moved into Formula 1 with McLaren, Gary Paffett, it was between him and Gary Paffett, and it was quite a close call, and they decided to go with Hamilton. Obviously a right decision. Paffett, very lucky, very unlucky that he had such a, you know, another strong driver waiting in the wings with him. Gary did a lot of testing for Mercedes, for McLaren for a long time. Don't think he does that anymore, but very much the sort of senior guy in the Mercedes DTM squad. I think it's 15 years he's done, been a DTM champion, of course, in the past, and here he is.
Yeah, well, there was a suggestion that, you know, there may be another team that he would perhaps find to seat him, but as it happened, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But he's been able to go on and build a very good career for himself.
Absolutely.
With Mercedes-Benz.
And
Out goes
Ledegaard just made a
58.
quick pit stop then.
Yeah.
And so did the 57 car was making a pit stop. Black Falcon car. Mr. Dulu, Andreas Simonsen, Hubert Haupt, who over 20 years ago was an Audi factory driver. Look at them waiting, look at that assembly there. The disc sitting in the caliper with the new pads in. Great shot there from our cameraman. Great work, guys, down there.
It's amazing the speed at which they can do this. To some degree, it is part and parcel of development. And you may recall we were saying very early on that one of the great things about this type of racing was that many of the things that you come to do in a race like this find their way into a modification to the cars. And when you look at this, you can wonder whether there may come a time in the non too distant future with the cost of actually having to take apart brakes and things like that, whether the whole brake system, as we've just seen there, maybe when you go in they say, well, you've got a bit of a problem, we've got to do the brakes, they just change the whole darn thing. It costs less because it may cost a little bit more for the parts, but the labour is easier.
We're watching the second place BMW on track, Philip Enger, and he's just about 9 seconds down, I think, Nev, on the leader. This, you know, this is not a race where somebody's running away with it by any manner or means. And there you see how the gap has changed. Soule of Belgium versus Enger of Austria.
And the BMW.
And our cameraman
M6
doing something a little bit tricky and arty there. Did you see that?
The M6 BMW is a very, very quick car. It's the latest in BMW wear for this type of racing. And as Andrew was saying, they actually use them in America and the races there as well to a slightly different state of tune.
Raymond Narak's Porsche. Patrick Pilet, their star factory driver with a Kodak sponsorship. And Narak been running cars at Le Mans for years. But Pilet, now a factory Porsche driver, but very much a protege of Narak.
And he was the director of Kodak, who took many of the great pictures of the pre-war motor racing.
Oh, is that so?
Pre-war motor racing throughout the whole of Europe at that time.
The eight leading cars in the pit, by the way.
Yep. And coming in very slowly there is car number 12. I wonder why.
Well, that's way down the field.
Along.
That's the BMW, the Pro-Am BMW.
It's the car had trouble before, isn't it?
That's the Boutsen Gideon team, run by Thierry Goutsen's brother-in-law, and there is the shot of the leader in.
Yeah.
This looks like just a quick routine shots. Guy there just checking the temperatures of the front brakes, I think.
Yeah. That and the brake wear, which I think they can do.
Wear. Oh yeah, I think it's a brake wear. And I think it was a driver change. So they're going to leave the local man in the car.
They're going to change tyres.
Maxime Soule. So I said, done this race last 10 years or so, Soule. Several times in a Chevrolet Corvette. And a little bit surprised, wasn't the odd US car in this?
Yes, I thought we would see probably a few Corvettes.
Yeah, well, Dodge Viper have a GT3 car that races in the States that would fit into these regulations. But
I would have thought the Chevrolets would as well.
Well, they don't. You see, they're in the next class up. They don't have a GT3 car at the moment. And somebody's off there. Somebody in the Merc looks stopped and pointing in the wrong direction. I think.
Car 12 stopped on the right-hand side.
That is car 12.
T4 and T5.
That's the car we saw crawling.
This was the car.
Yeah, it is pointing in the right direction.
We spotted in trouble a while ago. and we saw it crawling back. Well, it ain't come back.
Karim Ogier at the wheel, famous name Ogier, and his older brother Mansour Ogier, of course, been very much involved with McLaren, part owner of the McLaren Formula One team over the years. And it's his younger brother who does the racing, although the older one has driven racing cars in test sessions and so on. Mansour, very popular around the Formula One paddocks.
Christopher Haase car.
He's a great runner, Christopher Haase, you know, young, unassuming young man. Races quite a lot in the States, also in an Audi, placed there by the factory. And just having another look at Philip Engels having that 99 BMW. All those three drivers are going so well in it.
Yeah.
And it's just, but then the swings and roundabouts, you see, and then you see he's taken 3 or 4 seconds.
Is well up too, do you see?
Yeah.
So both those cars, in fact, in with a chance, I think is a nice way of putting it.
I don't think there's any question about that. And of course, the 8 car drops back into 3rd place. This is just cycling through. They're not all on the same pit stop strategy.
It is a real sort of battle this between not just one mark, but about 3 marks. You've got obviously Bentley in the hunt. You've got equally McLaren in the hunt. It's not going to be too long, I don't think, before Mercedes are going to climb a little bit further up. And one way or another, this has the makings of a very, very exciting second half of the race, let alone the fact we haven't ever yet got to the first half.
No, that's true. We're getting there. There's another 3 hours to go yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're 9 hours into this race right just now.
Just over 1/3 distance.
Yeah. So long way to go yet. That's one of the fascinating. They call it endurance racing. Yes, a lot of endurance needed. And we're getting some great onboard shots. What's that light there flashing? I'm loving this. I'm loving this, Nev.
Yeah. Really fantastic pictures.
Between first and second at the moment is 7 seconds. It seesaws around depending on going through traffic. The last lap they both did 2:22s as the Bentley came in, and interestingly their pit stop took them just about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
On the Vector. Katzberg, last year's winner there in a 98 car. That's sort of very much moving into the picture now. And then Bertrand Baguette in the number 4 is in 5th place in another of those Audi R8s. But certainly looking pretty impressive for Rowe Racing. So they're 2 BMWs now running in 2nd and 4th positions. So what I'm talking about, running in 1st and 4th positions. Then an Audi, then a Bentley. So it's getting spot on now. At the moment, Philip Engels is leading.
But
the BMW.
But there are Mercedes and McLarens as well in the hunt.
Well, McLaren is 7th at the moment. The second of the Bentleys. They're quite close. Not much separating them.
Not a great deal.
Battle going on also between the 57 and 58. Not sure if we can pick that one up in the dark. Very difficult to do, but they're running only a second apart.
It's been a battle that's been going on for
yeah, it has.
time.
Yeah. So that's the Black Falcon 57 car. And,
definitely.
Yeah, that's got Adam Christodoulou in it at the moment.
Quick glance down for those of you who are wondering whether the other Jaguar still in the race? Well, it's still languishing down at the very bottom there in 59th place. He did lose an awful lot of distance. Although it's a very quick car, I can't see him being able to make up a great deal.
98 just into the pits. Second of those BMWs. Abrill is at the wheel of the 7 Bentley at the moment. Here, that one I just called in. Katzberg coming out of the car. Dutch driver. Also works a lot with a Portuguese team.
Clean.
There's quite a lot of driver coaching.
Check now on the tyres and everything else as well, and that looks uncomfortable, doesn't it? Well, it was, because he only got passed by one of the two. The other one is looking for a way through on the inside, but isn't going to get it. At least may have done, I don't know.
Oh, that was Enger, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Having a push there.
So.
Winkelhock has just gone into the 6 car, which is just pitted. So we're getting quite a lot of pit stops at the moment amongst these leading cars. And it appears to me the 99 is a bit out of sequence. There was, he just saw the Winkelhock car going past, look, and stops at its box. Funny in recent times, isn't it, how it's somebody that is using the European box. And you hear them engineers saying box, box, box.
Yes, you and I remember that sort of the cry so many times in the past was from the pits.
Another tear off from the windscreen. Yeah. They build them up before the start of the race. How many is 10 or 12 of those on? They've got tabs on either side.
I think you can get as many as 12.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see relative positions of these top 4 after they've completed their pit stops. But I'm pretty sure the 99 is going to remain in the lead here.
Yes, you've got to sort of say with a degree of certainty that we're going to have probably the odd change here. The Bentley's down to 3rd at the moment. That's probably because he had a longer stop. Yet he went out and in S3 did a very, very quick time.
Back up to racing speed. The 98 car with the step. Dusseldorf back in it.
Yeah, the sections here where we can in fact look up and see of the 3 sections who's done what with which and to whom, and it's quite interesting. There's no doubt about it that there are times when the Bentley's quicker and there are times when the opposition's quicker.
See the Bentley team manager, I'm not sure that's going to be Matthew Wilson, called to race control immediately. They're never called to race control in the next 10 minutes, are they, in these messages? They're always immediately. So to the 40.
Right-hand side of the track.
No, is that not the car that's been there for ages?
I think it's the car that's been there for a long time. And cars about 8 and 40.
Now,
Asked to come and see the headmaster.
58 car is...
that's a Ferrari and a Bentley.
58 car up to 5th place with the young French driver Hot Shoe at the wheel as we show the 5th and 6th battle. There is the 57 car. These are the 2 Mercedes, I think, running together. No, that's a 5 of Ledegar, who's having a big push.
Oh, yes.
There is the Mercedes of Christodoulou, Adam Christodoulou, chasing that McLaren. And those 2, let's not rule them out. Christodoulou, what a season it would be for him if he could win this, having won the Nürburgring 24 hours.
Question that often crops up.
Oh, look at that now, I love that. See all the flames coming out of the exhaust and lighting them up in the night.
Yeah. question that often crops up.
You've got the disc glowing red, and then you've got all the glowing exhaust pipes as well.
Is what engine does the McLaren have? Well, it has effectively what is their own engine. If that's the way they look at it. But it's an engine that was designed by Ricardo.
Oh, is that so?
And Ricardo, so Henry Ricardo and Sons, was one of the great designers of engines, and not a lot of people know, to quote a well-known actor, that they actually designed an engine in 1939 for Alfa Romeo.
Aha. And they also do gearboxes as well.
Yeah.
So here is this battle going on between Ledegar and Christodoulou for 5th and 6th places, and just running behind Bertrand Baguette in the number 4 car. And
I wish he'd change his name. I'm getting hungry.
Well, you've resisted in calling him like Bright Roll or something, I noticed, which is pretty good now. Leading in the Pro-Am class is the Jerome Policand run Mercedes.
And here we've got our old friend, number 58 again, struggling as hard as only he can to try and close the gap, if at all possible, on number 4.
So much traffic, they have to work so hard around here, these quicker cars.
But this is my favourite part of this circuit, there's no question about it. When back in the days of the Jaguars in the 1980s, I used to commentate on those races that they won, and the Volvos took part and everything else as well. It was an immensely thrilling place to watch these cars go through, and it's just the same today with cars that go even faster.
Winkelhock in that 3rd place now after his pit stop. And Ledegar, I think, just pulling away from Christodoulou. There's just a nice shot there of the 42 Ferrari from the French team Classic and Modern Racing.
It was Winkelhock's father, of whom there is a picture, a moving picture, of at the Nürburgring, when all 4 wheels of this car are about 7 or 8 feet off the ground.
At Flugplatz,
yeah. Amazing.
A very famous picture of BMW 635 off the deck there as well, isn't there?
Yes.
We're seeing pictures of Formula 1 cars when they race around the old Nürburgring off the deck. But it's great, of course. Nürburgring 24 hours is not in our championship, but it's still, for these German manufacturers, a big race, and very similar cars. It's got a much bigger field than this. It's a different sort of race, actually. I personally think it's a bit more of a club race than this is.
Well, it is, perhaps, because it's run
two
on
Mercedes running together.
Yeah. It's run on the original ring, which is, to say the least, a challenge.
Nordschleife, but let's enjoy this action. Great onboard shots. And then down into the compression, and then sweeping up the confidence lift just before there. And then carrying on, and then...
And these are fantastic pictures.
Yeah, and then very hard braking down into Le Combe. Go down into... 2nd gear there, or if you're on new tyres, maybe 3rd, and then you start diving down the hill. There's a bit of curb. Trying to dive down the inside here, aren't we? This battle continues. Brake lights blazing away. And Fang heading into the right hand of his campus. Now that was campus there actually, but couldn't tell in the dark. Marcus Winkelhock on a little bit of a mission at the moment, but as we've been saying for several hours now, these lap times at Le Mans, you look at the lap times of drivers and they're very consistent, maybe within half a second of each other for 10 or 12 laps. Cannot happen here because there's so much traffic. So the lap times seesawing about a bit, but obviously it swings and roundabouts with these guys. You get held up one lap and your mate gets held up charging after you the next lap. But Winkelhock has put a couple of quick ones in.
Just having a look to see what more laps we're getting. We're in the 20s.
Yeah, Winkelhock just did a 21.7 last lap round. Anybody else further down the field making up time, doing some quick laps, and you can see too many. That number 89 car.
In 20 seconds.
Car number 12, that's presumably again that same car stopped.
Still there, so
perhaps they're looking to actually remove it, I'd guess.
Ah, yeah. That's what they're going to do.
4, 3, 2, 1, full course yellow.
And a full course, as I don't think this will be a long one. I think they're just going to pull this out of the way for safety's sake.
Yes, it looks as if they are putting it behind the barrier.
That has confused the timing screen mightily because they've suddenly decided timing screen has got somebody who's just done a allegedly 2:07 lap.
No, I don't believe that. I think that's...
So that's a glitch, I think.
That's one that that's one that you just chucked in to upset the Bentley.
Yeah.
Yes. Any more than I think that 2:20. Oh, that was some time ago. Because the last one was 2:24 for him and 2:22 for the Bentley. So I don't think I want to pay too much attention to that.
Pit stop also for the 88 car. I wonder what's this is going to do to the strategy.
Well, I don't know, but we've got the low loader that's come out here, which quite surprised me because I thought that they'd put it behind the barrier and that was that. It was all going to be back to normal very quickly, but it isn't obviously going to be that way.
One car we haven't talked much about, Nev, this is a Mercedes, have been chipping away, and now it's in 13th place. The 18th car of the AMG team AKK ASP, that's Jerome Polican's team. And Felix Rosenqvist, who is winning races in America at the moment in Indy Lights, European Formula 3 champion, just had a test in an Indy car the other day, was very quick indeed. He's got Renger van der Zande in it, and Renger's a great runner, and he's fresh from a victory at Mid-Ohio, I think, last weekend, where he won the race outright for the United Sports Car Series. They didn't have the top class, so he won the race for the Starworks team in their PC car. And a third of those drivers is Tristan Vautier, who is a French driver, but he's been racing, he's raced in Indy, he's raced in long distance races for Mazda over in the States, so much of his recent career has been over in the States. So you've got three real hot shoes in that car.
Yeah, there's much more balanced now view of racing in the States as opposed to racing in Europe.
Well, also
quite a lot of people racing in the States that race in Europe and vice versa, which wasn't the case at all at one time.
People can make money doing it. So I think that's a trio to watch. Vautier, Rosenqvist and van der Zande.
I don't know quite why they've taken the low loader up to load this car
And then they've got it behind the Armco barrier.
Yeah.
Now, this should be the shortest yellow we've had of full course.
One would think so, unless they're proposing to put it on the low loader and take it back to the pits.
Ah, yes, and there is a reason, because I'm just reading the timing screen.
Aha.
Car 12 was stopping pit lane to
Green
fix
flag, green
the
flag.
front hook. So they've tried to tow it, and the front hook either is not there or is broken, so they've had to put it on the green flag again anyway. Well, that was a really short one. Meanwhile, the 99 car, I believe, has gone into the pit. We'll see it in a moment.
Well, what I believe will happen is
There it
that
is, just stopping right now.
Yeah, they will load it onto the low loader, and then they probably will bring the low loader around with it on.
But look how many
and another
pits.
yellow flag.
Look, they've 4 car in 4th place, the 58 car in 5th place, the 6th place car, Christa Dulu, they're all in the pits. And also the 84 Mercedes-Benz in 8th place, that's in the pits. The lead car is in the pits. It's all happening there at the moment. I think the 8 car just made a pit stop. So I think they're all now running pretty well on a similar strategy.
Here's the Bell Van Gisbergen car in for the stop.
Now, what has Shane been doing? I've hardly seen Shane in the car so far. I think he's done one stint. And it's been Ledegaard, it's been Bell. I suspect that Shane might be coming in the car now. Be interesting to see what the strategy is there. And he is quick, big boy. See how the drivers change. So Ledegaard is staying in the car though. It's not Shane. Mr. Dulu is staying in the car.
A number of those cars that made a stop have returned back to the track. We're waiting for number 4 to
99
go back.
99 seems to be a long time in the pits at the moment.
Yes,
Would it
does,
lose the lead then?
I think
The message in pit has been up on our timing screen. I can't see from our monitor, but maybe we can find that. 99 BMW.
I think he's got more than.
And indeed, we think the Bentley has gone into the lead because of that.
Yeah.
The 8 car. What has happened with the 99 though? Must be a problem. Oh, that was close. Here's our leading Bentley back in the lead then. The 8 car. I think the 99. Maybe they're doing their 5-minuter.
Could be.
Now. The car has...
There's number 8 leading car.
Yeah.
And he obviously is having a bit of trouble with doing some lappery when he would really like to.
Going down the pit lane then. And into its stall. Well, in fact, a couple of cars. There's this car on and out.
I think that was a Merc coming out. I think that was 86 coming out.
So what's happened to 99? 99 is out of the pits. So 99's come out of the pits, but the Bentley is still in the lead. So obviously we're working in the pits a bit longer than the Bentley. So that's huge. That's huge. In fact, the 99 car has dropped to 3rd place. So I wonder if we can find out what happened there in that pit stop for the 99. And it was in the pits for 5. It's in the pits for 5.5 minutes. Maybe they've done their 5-minuter.
I reckon they must have done.
Yeah, I think they've done it.
Yeah, I think they've done their 5-minuter.
Interesting. So the others haven't. So it's got that in the bag now.
Theoretically. We don't know. I mean,
Well, I'm pretty
it
sure of that.
depends.
Yeah.
It depends, I suppose. They've done that stop when there was not a yellow out, haven't they? So they haven't lost perhaps as much time as they would have done.
Maybe they needed to, you know, it's
Or-
ready.
yeah.
They needed to change the brakes, and that's the point. So, we got Bentley's first and third now. Still the local driver in the lead.
2:23, 2:22. The leading car is just on a 2:21.
Maxime Soule doing a sterling job out there. His car is sharing with Andy Soucek and Wolfgang Wright.
Quick jump down.
Two Belgians.
Just to see if anybody back down the line is going really quickly.
So I think Charlie's got some news for it. Let's go down to the pit lane.
Okay then, team. So yeah, I've just asked one of the team bosses on the pit wall. There's some of the senior bosses stand on the pit wall in their tiny little tents and huts, looking at their TV screens. And the 99 car, the reason why it stayed in the pits for so long was because it actually did its 5-minute mandatory pit stop, which all the teams have to do to change mainly brakes, pads, which they can do in pretty much, we've heard earlier, in about 1 minute 30 to under 2 minutes, which is pretty phenomenal, considering those cars are so hot and pretty tired by now, really. So all the mechanics working really, really hard on the cars constantly in the pit lane. But the reason why that took so long was because it was unsighted by us on the other end of the pit lane, and it had done its mandatory pit stop. So everyone looks really relaxed. Everyone's all calm and cool, collected in the Rowe Racing team. And yeah, they all it was all under control. So all job done, absolutely sorted here from Rowe Racing. And I've found Gary Paffett, and I'm just about to go and talk to him in a few minutes, guys. So I'll wait till the race director gives me the nod on that, but I'll go and talk to him in the next couple of minutes. So you'll be hearing from me very shortly. But guys, you're doing a great job up there. It's absolutely comical and very factual. I'm loving it. Thank you.
Well, at this point in time, we can shake hands, can't we? Because we both said that would happen, and that's why the car was left coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking also now to see what sort of program we've got now with times. Now, the Bentley did a 2:21.4. Now there is, look, an even quicker lap by number 6.
Yeah, but
that's a quick lap.
second.
Yeah, but it's still quick.
Yeah, I don't know, Winkelhock's still on it.
Yeah, you know, I'm just looking to see what we've got. 2:23 from 2:24 from 99.
But I'm just also looking at the Pro-Am Cup, which has got the 74 car. Nicolas Lapierre doing a great job leading that at the moment from the 100 car. So 3 cars battling for that very important category. And, well, our pitch reporter really working hard. We go back to him now.
Okay, so as I said, found Gary Paffett, a good friend of mine. We go back a long way back into our karting days, but good to see you out there and doing so well. The commentators said that you haven't driven much in the dark. Tell us about all of your sort of pre-season testing and what you have done in endurance racing.
Yeah, so my first time in the GT car was last year, really. I did the sort of 30-hour endurance test for the new GT, so I did a little bit of night driving there. That was the first time I'd driven in the night. And then I did a few laps on Thursday night here. And then tonight is my first time, well, racing a GT, but racing in the night. I mean, the biggest difference between the test that I did in here is just the amount of cars and traffic. You know, with the test, there was just 2 cars there. Now there's 60 of them out there, so
you could say you were spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. I had the luxury of a clear track the whole time, so it's quite different, you know, quite different when your lap times are varying by so much. it's just so important to get past the back markers as quickly as possible, but also safely, you know, because it's a long race. So.
Okay, we spoke earlier before the interview. Every time you got in the car, luck hasn't been on your side today, has it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, my GT debut, I got in the car and did 40 minutes behind the safety car while they repaired the barrier after Eau Rouge, and then my second stint, I got in, I did a few laps, and then they had to repair another barrier for another 45 minutes. So I've spent about an hour and a half going around behind a safety car today. So it's, it's not all been glory, but you know, the night stint was great. I did a triple stint in the night, and felt good in the car, and the lap times were good. So
frustrating could be one word on your mind.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same for everybody. And actually, the first time I got in the car to be cruising around was all right. I got comfortable and got into it, so it was. I didn't have to push straight away. So yeah, I didn't mind it. I mean, obviously, you want to be making time up. With the penalty we had this morning, we wanted to make time up, and all the time we're stuck behind a safety car, we can't gain anything. So.
That's a bit of a shame. I had a text message from your manager last night, Mark Blundell. What's your involvement with him, and how much does he get involved with your future career?
Yeah, Mark's been great for me over the last 10 years, I suppose. You know, he's been looking after me, getting me here, there, and everywhere, and looking after everything to my racing career. So he's a really good guy. I mean, he's been there, he's seen it. He's a streetwise guy. You know, he knows what he's doing. And he's a good friend as well. So, you know, he's a big motorsport fan. He has a lot of passion for motorsport as well. So it's good to have him on board.
Okay, talking away now from Spa in the dark and about 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, I haven't looked. But what other involvement have you got with Mercedes outside of endurance racing?
So obviously I've been doing DTM with Mercedes for 13 years, my 13th year. So I'm still doing that. That's still, my sort of main focus, really. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this for a bit of not fun, but something to do in between. If there's something extra, and so that's my main work with Mercedes. I also do some work for Williams F1, which is obviously got links with Mercedes because of the engine side. Mainly simulator work for them and simulator development work. So yeah, I've got enough to keep me busy. Yeah.
Okay, can you describe the AMG GT that you're driving in 5 words? Just 5 words.
5 words. Awesome, fast, fun. 5 words is a lot of words, isn't it?
It is at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Compared to my DTM, heavy. One more. Comfortable.
Behind the safety car, of course it's going to be comfortable.
Yeah, it has to be. To be in the car for 3 hours, it has to be pretty comfortable, so, yeah.
But it seems like you're still enjoying your racing, so...
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and this is something new. I mean, after racing for 15, 20 years, it's nice to do something new, something different, and, after 20 years, it's hard to find something that's new and different. So it's great to be here, part of the team, and obviously every time I turn up in a car, I want to win. So we're pushing hard. It's hard work today, but we're going to do our best.
Good. Gary, thanks for your time.
Thank you, cheers.
Charlie, do you ever beat him in karting?
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much.
Charlie not getting us there, but... we're at the top of the hour. Time to look at the highlights, Nev. And, it's heading towards 12 hours now. We've seen this a few times now. The parachute coming in. The
parachute out of the sky, the car's out on the track, and this was the way it all started.
With Rennie Rush taking the lead from Bortolotti in the Lamborghini. Haven't got too many Lamborghinis near the front now, but we did back then at the start.
There's always almost a competition to see who will make the first mistake and go off, and it happened to be one poor chap
Marco
who
Seefried,
who's
normally a Porsche driver, driven with the actor Patrick Dempsey, so that brought out...
He was soon back on the track, however, and the other great interest was what would happen with the Mercedes. They'd all had a problem over an infringement, and they'd all started towards the back of the grid, and they all had a 5-minute pit stop that they'd got to make, they'd got to take. They did it. Somebody said it'll take them 8 hours to come back. It did. They're in the top half dozen again now.
This car, number 50, been running near the front, and that was the Spirit of Race. Alessandro Pierre Guidi making his pit stop, but he faded. Lamborghini's Bortolotti still in the Grasser team car.
The first big
in the front,
happening.
and then the first big accident here, yeah.
Yeah, with quite honestly a sad end to Ferrari's chances for victory, which they felt that they probably would have had a very good chance to have. There is Fisichella trying to put a brave face on it. Meanwhile, it lost another car as well in the middle.
Yeah,
of
and
that
of course
too,
Kevin
didn't it?
Estre, factory
Yep.
Porsche driver. Some people pointed a finger at him. He limped away from that incident. And the big problem was that it really damaged the Armco barrier very well. It took 40 minutes to fix that. There's the crane doing it, and everybody taking a bit of a breather.
There's no shortcuts to fixing Armco barrier. It has to be right, because if it isn't right, it's more dangerous than not having it at all. You really got to make quite certain that it is back to do the job it's meant to do, which is to protect the spectators as well as the drivers.
Late afternoon entertainment was the battle there between the BMW and the McLaren. And then we had another new leader, the number 8 car, the Bentley. That's leading now.
Yeah, Bentley had never won a 24-hour race here at Spa. They'd won loads of them at Le Mans, but this was their chance to show that they'd got the pace to do something about it, and they
So
did.
They have. Then all of a sudden there was a flash. Can't call it a rainstorm. A flash, little flurry of rain.
And Jaguar 114 then took its turn in the lead. It's a long time since a Jaguar won here at Spa. That would be in the 1980s.
It's a long time
Carl
since they
Walkinshaw did it.
A long time since they led a 24-hour race. But Audi, you can never discount them. And that 6 car that's been up in the top 3 all the way through this so far. The other Bentley, that was definitely in the battle. But the Jaguars, that was the early surprise.
And the car was quick. The balloons were going up just as quickly as they were coming down. And loads of pit stops taking place with everybody taking on board the fact that they got a long one to make for about 5 minutes, and it was something that they got to put to good use and pick the right time to do it.
Had some terrific onboard shots from the Del Ledegar Van Gisbergen McLaren. And that's been there or thereabouts, but not really been battling for the lead apart from that early bit of action we saw.
The Jaguar 6 Series has, the BMW, I'm going mad, 6 Series really come into its own, but with the departure of one of the Bentleys.
Yeah, that's the private Parker car, parked it in the barrier.
And a tyre on yet another casualty here being pushed away. We were shortly coming to what was effectively the end of the challenge from Jaguar. Not before, however, we had another incident which brought out the pace car again in the middle of the concert as well, to the same part of Armco that we'd had trouble with earlier on in the evening. Out on the track, however, this was adjudged not to be the fault of the Jaguar driver when there was a bit of an entanglement, and as you can see, the Jaguar managed to shunt somebody very hard indeed, and at the same time take himself off into the barrier.
Yeah, actually shunted the 28, one of the highly regarded Audis. Thought it was going to be a front runner, that 28 car, the Ready Rast car, which of course did lead at the get-go.
The Jaguar got back into lead, spent a long time in the pits, and is currently lying in 60th place.
More great night action here, and Bentley right in the mix, as they still are now.
But this is a broad, long battle with one or two people finding trips into the boonies, slow them down a little bit. But by and large, it's a battle that is seeing Bentley, it's seeing BMW, it's seeing Audi, and it's seeing, in fact, Mercedes now coming back into the hunt.
The Parker Racing Bentley doing a bit of a pirouette, but this BMW probably has led the race longer than anyone else. Alexander Sims, after a terrific session, pops out the car.
Drive-through penalty to car 40, pit lane infringement.
And that's live from the race director, Alexander Sims. Got a round of applause from the Rowe Racing team after that session. Then more problems. The 24 car into the barrier, had to go onto the flatbed. The full course yellow came out yet again, and it was another Team Parker car, Ian Ologhi, and Ian sadly out of the race. Time to fit some new brakes, particularly on the 85 car.
And time for the team managers of cars 78, 12 and 30 to visit race control. Make sure they're awake for the rest of the night.
6 Audi, as we headed through the darkness, started to establish itself as the main Audi. And Marcus Winkelhock recently been doing some great action. They're still hanging in there, the McLaren.
But this has been a race that, until comparatively recently, has had so many people do many different things, including a little nudge there from the Bentley.
Into the garage, the one car, Audi, but just... I think we're just hearing the 58 car is dropping down the field now. Here is in second place in the Pro-Am category. Well, no, actually, that was second place, I believe, in the Am category there, that Kaspersky car, and that is the total 24-hour Spa update. And yeah, that's the news at the moment, that the McLaren has appears to have a problem. Let's have a look at the classification after 230 laps. The Bentley of Souley, Soucek and Reap in the lead from the Mies, Stippler, Winkelhock car. Then it's Smith, Averill and Kane, Salaquada, Montara, Stockinger, Leonard, Fringe and Meadows. That's another Audi. Bortolotti, Blinkermolen, Innichen, the best of the Lamborghinis, Katzberg, Dusseldorf and Werner. Sims, Eng and Martin in that BMW's drop back. Haupt, Simonson and Christodoulou in a Mercedes. People catch up with this Nev, the McLaren now, Ryan Gisborne, Ledegaard and Bell now a lap down. Jager, Paffett and Gotts. We just spoke to Gary in 14th place. Then Michel Rugolo been doing a phenomenal job. That Ferrari in 15th place.
The remaining Jaguar was 19th, and 20 was next up, with certainly a close battle there between a number of cars, and one car that also has dropped back was number 3, who was one time quite a quick car and looks that he was going to get somewhere.
Lots of Lamborghinis there, 29 through 34 is all Lamborghinis. The two Barwell cars running in 33rd and 34th place, the British team.
Senna had a disappointing race, 28th the best he could do in a car that's not that quick.
Well, I think that's the third team car. It's not really as well sorted as the other two.
Still, a majority of the cars running, Lamborghinis mixing it with Mercedes. The Aston Martin, which has fallen back gradually over the night, having been right up at the front at one stage, is back now in the late 40s.
The Australian Lamborghini from Roger Largo there, still running. Nissan having a very disappointing race indeed. 55 is one of the national cars.
The Parker Bentley had an
Speed
accident.
Lover.
And has been back in the race, but is not as quick as it might have been. And that's the Friday Jaguar, the one that had the damage to the front, that is back now up this 60th place. Still listed, the Lamborghini, and that's the last listed car, with a number of others that have actually had to admit that it's the end of a long night and not a happy one for them.
At the moment, we're in the middle of the night, aren't we, Nev?
We are.
3 o'clock in the morning here in Belgium, in the Ardennes Forest.
13 hours and 13 minutes.
Bentley's first and third, sandwiching the Winkelhock Audi. And just look at that in fourth place now. That's a little bit of a surprise. The 75 car has been moving up the ISR Salaquada entry.
In the surprise results that we've had so far over the 24-hour races this year in other parts of the world, we're wondering still whether we're going to get a surprise here. But with Bentley's in first and in third place, it does seem quite remarkable. But keep an eye open for the development of Mercedes in the next 2 or 3 hours. These cars, delayed at the start, are proving to be still very quick. Not perhaps as quick as they were in practice, but lapping regularly in the low 320 mark, 322s. And they could, they should, they might still make it.
Yeah, running quickly though, that 75 car. That's the highest place we've seen it in the ISR Audi of Edo Mortara at the wheel at the moment. And that car, I think, has had very little problem at all, if any, and reliability coming into play here. And fighting back, also the GRT Grasser Racing team from Austria, their number 16 car, Mirko Bortolotti, former F2 champion. Jerome Bleekemolen's been in that car. And we've also got Rolf Innerschen, who's better known racing in the Porsche Carrera Cup. He's the third of their drivers. Someone really discovered or rediscovered, because he had been racing in an earlier life by Franz Conrad, but he's not racing the Conrad Lamborghini here. He's racing the Grasser Racing Team machine. Last, we've got a pattern really now. Neville, you just said Mercedes are in there. Adam Christodoulou currently in the 57 Mercedes, and Bortolotti has just dropped a spot from the 98 car actually, and the 98 car is the Katzberg Dusseldorf I should say, and Dirk Werner.
75 Audi has moved up considerably over the last hour or so.
Yeah, that's the one that Edo Mortara's driving. So just mentioned, yeah.
Really proving to be a pretty tight sort of effort. This, he's really pushing it very, very hard, and is lapping quite quickly.
Just mentioned the Lamborghini Bortolotti. It's just now made a pit stop, which I think will drop it down a couple of spaces. So tight here, sort of 4th through 9th and 10th. It's a really big battle, sort of probably 40 seconds between all that group. And just noticing there, also a man to watch we haven't spoken about too much, but in the number 4 Team WRT car, Pierre Caffer now at the wheel of that. Pierre Caffer, hugely experienced, former outright winner when he was an Audi factory driver of the Sebring 12 Hours. And expect Pierre to be getting a move. He's coming actually in 11th place at the moment, just behind the Dutch driver, Van der Zande. Van der Zande fresh from the win in America last weekend. Still getting a constant stream of drivers and team managers called up. So, although our timing stream shows us Rob Bell in the 58 car, it's overridden by another message, so it's Ledegar still in the car. Winkelhock's having a bit of a push at the moment. Nev, obviously in second place,
Yes.
in that BMW.
Yeah, he's lapping in 222s to the Bentley's 223s. So
but again, you don't
he's
know.
gaining steadily on him.
You've got to look at it over a sort of 5 or 6 lap period.
Yeah.
There's the ebb and flow of the going through the traffic. This is such a dark racetrack here. You know, Daytona 24 hours, a race I've done regularly. It's basically in the stadium there, and there's a lot of light. It's hardly dark at all in reality. Le Mans, well, there's a lot of it lit up nicely these days. Nothing as dark as we're seeing on the screen here. Nürburgring 24 hours, it would be pretty dark.
Yeah. Of the two Bentleys, strangely enough, it's the car in third place that's lapping the quicker of the two at the moment.
Well, it's that's a young hard charger in April, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having a go. We had an interview with him earlier on. Charlie got to him.
We concluded that young eyes are a bit better than old eyes when it's dark, and there's a lot of lights to take your mind off things.
All of a sudden, that 16 Lamborghini has dropped down the field to 11th. So I wonder if that's had a bit of an issue. Mirko Bortolotti, or whether it's just the fact they're so close in that little pack there. Bortolotti. I wonder if that car's got a problem now. Look, it's dropped from about 7th down to 15th.
Yeah, I wonder whether he's considering whether or not he should make his long stop, or rather hope that our positive idea that they might bring the car that they put on the low loader back up to the pits.
Yeah, but we got a great timing system here, and doesn't, cars are in the pits. It says on our time, it doesn't say that for Bortolotti, but I see his last lap was 4 minutes 26.
That's slow.
Well, that would indicate to me he had made a pit stop actually.
Yeah.
It just didn't show up on the screen, so that's, I think, the situation there. And we've got these two Bentleys sitting in the top 3 positions. We've got 2 Audis in 2nd and 4th.
Aside from that, we've run out of Bentleys, haven't we?
But I do think there's such a distance to go yet. As I say, anything could happen, and probably will.
Yeah. Just seeing if there are any other Bentleys about. Have a quick look down the list.
Yeah, the Parker ones have both been in the wars, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they're the private cars. Max Goods, very fast runner in the 86 Mercedes. He's out there at the moment. Rugolo, who I've mentioned before, in the 50 Ferrari, is now in 13th place. And Nicolas Lapierre still leading in the Pro-Am category. So Charlie is down in the pit lane, and he's going to give us a little bit of strategy. So let's go down to Charlie Butler Henderson. What's the update down there, Charlie?
Okay, the update is very relaxed, to be honest with you. The Barwell team, in fact, actually, most of them were actually fast asleep, bless them, until I sort of wandered in front of their pit garage. But you can see the relaxed atmosphere here. Mark Lemmer in the background there. He'll hate me saying this, but the slightly smaller chap, the slightly receding with the non-sort of team gear on, the guy in black, has stood at the very back there with the twin aerials poking out of his ears. He is Mark Lemmer, very professional, very well-known race driver and team manager. Got the team under great control. We've got some of the team guys at the back there giving it all. They probably had a few drinks, by the way, some of them. You might have been a spectator, but the team working really, really hard, fast asleep. And, you know, they're 11 hours in. In 1 hour's time, we're going to be halfway through this 24-hour race as cars are just thundering past us in the pit lane. I just wanted to really point out, really, to the viewers at home and to the rest of them, really, that they've worked extremely hard, lots of work going on. But when there's downtime, they really do need to make the most of it, really. But they prepare two very, very quick Lamborghinis and have been very, very successful. And they deserve a little rest now and again. That's all I wanted to point out to you. And I wish we were having that rest as well. Up in the Combox, we're not getting so much of a rest, are we?
Well, these things are sent to try us, and
Well,
they do.
you know, it's exciting stuff out there. Just still wondering what... I don't know, Charlie can just go down a little bit down the pit lane and find out why that McLaren 58 has dropped to 12th place. And he has just come in the pits, but he had dropped down a couple of places anyway. And I think on the timing screen says it's Bell, but it's, and another line on the timing screen says Ledegar was driving, so it's got conflicting information there.
Well, that car certainly had been very quick and had been pushed,
because you know, we saw in the
very
highlights,
hard.
it had led briefly, and I had high hopes for that. That car, the very similar car, won the Bathurst 24 Hours over in Australia, and McLaren's won today, or yesterday it is now, in the Pirelli World Challenge race over, I think it's a Mid-Ohio track, super race track actually. So I think it's a bit I'd like to know, obviously we heard not so long ago from Andrew Ciccoldi, that car has dropped right down to 17th place now, and I suspect there is a problem, so Charlie, you might just go and have a quick word with Andrew again, just to find out what's happening there. Edo Mortara still doing an excellent job in the 75 ISR Audi, running very strongly, and he's the fastest man out on the racetrack at this time. '98 currently at the wheel of that. I think somebody we haven't given much of a check to is just need to check that out. It's Steph Dusseldorp. Now we got some action coming up. Driving change for the third place car here, and Bentley boys wait. And I saw Guy Smith there getting ready.
Yeah, this seems to be quite a good idea because the leading car is quicker.
Look at this. Bentley, that's a Bentley in third place. We're tracking with now.
Yes, the third place
cars.
Third place car a couple of seconds lap slower than the first place car at the moment, so perhaps it is a question of a little bit of tender loving care required, as well as a change of driver.
Well, I think we just nipped into the pit lane here.
Here's the Bentley.
Lights flashing.
By the way, it flashes.
See this M Sport crew go to work there.
End of the pit road. And you can see the stop. Sensible
Right on the mark.
Right, bang on the mark.
Vincent Abril will climb out and into the 7 car. We'll go
Driver
Guy Smith.
Dragged out. Guy Smith gets in. Interesting thing that although you can indeed, and many people do, alter seats around in these cars, if you can actually get some, first and foremost, some reasonably matched drivers, physical size-wise, the other thing to do is to also be pretty sure that if you've got a team of 3 drivers, they don't want something totally different in the car to the others.
Well, that's a great thing about it. So different to Formula One endurance racing is, you know, the drivers have got to work together as a team. They've got to make compromises with each other to get a setup that they might not all find is absolutely perfect for them, but that works for all 3 of them or even all 4 of them. So it's one of the reasons that I like sports car racing and endurance racing. It's probably more cerebral kind of racing. And, you know, the guys, no egos. Well, there will be egos, of course, but they need to be team players.
Yeah, I think that puts a very different sort of...
And it was ever thus. I mean, obviously the cars are infinitely more adjustable now, but you know, going back 20, 30, 40 years
very
to Metzer drivers, well, long
drivers.
Distance races then, of course, even 24-hour races tend to have 2 drivers, so it was easier to get a setup that suited 2 rather than is a setup that suits 3.
The other fascinating thing, of course, looking to the past as opposed to the present, was in those days, if you were doing a 24-hour race, then if your maximum revs normally, shall we say 6,000 RPM, then you tended to sort of keep cars around about 5.8, something like that. And you had a word with the John Wire or the lot dealing of the day, and they would say, right, well, this car, our cars, I want one car lapping no faster than 420. I want another car lapping no faster than 422. Sterling can do what he bloody well likes, but that's what I want, because it's never been won by anybody who's done a race with laps faster than 420, and he would work on that basis so that you didn't overstress or somebody else didn't overstress the car. Now they get into a car and it's how fast would it go, and will it go for the entire race doing that, because there's no such thing as we'll back off or we'll do 420s. You get down there and you go as fast as you can.
No, and these days no saving fuel either, which obviously they're on a bit of an economy run. Back years ago, Derek Bell days and so, just shows never how tight it is in that sort of battle between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bentley was 3rd, coming for the pit stop, and it's dropped right down to 7th place. That's how close it is. Now, this Bentley we're on board with now, which is the leading car, probably now going to make its pit stop. So it can, nice to stay on board and see it come all the way in. See if he can hit the mark perfectly. With our Belgian driver. So I must say that Maxime Soulet has really impressed me today. Oh, yesterday and today now. So this Bentley, 2 Belgian drivers. Great for...
He's not very far away from the bus stop now.
They have to brake so hard down into the bus stop. It's so tight there. It is a first gear corner. And look, Edo Mortara in the Czech.
And straight into the pit road.
Yeah, it has. I just said that the ISR team from Czechoslovakia, Edo Mortara, has taken that car all the way up to 3rd place, and that too is coming into the pits. So we'll watch this, but just say to Charlie, if he gets a chance to get to the ISR team, Edo Mortara is a great guy, super interview, got a degree in marketing, which he actually did in the middle of his first season of DTM. It's a helmet of Soulet, slightly reminiscent of James Hunt, isn't it? Thinner line. Well, obviously James's helmet was a black base, but those 3 coloured lines, but in James's case, so were the colours of his old school Wellington.
Oh yeah, and the neck brace, which now is mandatory if you're going to go motor racing, and has been responsible, there's no question about this, for saving a lot of drivers a lot of dreadful problems.
Hands device.
The hands device. A lot of drivers, when they first had to use it, complained bitterly it was uncomfortable and all the rest of it.
And made it difficult to get in and out of the car.
Yeah. It's funny that they eventually got to accept it, and accept it with good reason.
And just see, I presume that Winkelhock is going to take the lead, but will then come in maybe the next lap.
Well, we'll see. As far as I can ascertain, he hasn't taken the lead yet. But that was because he had his long stop, didn't he?
Yeah.
Now we don't know whether the Bentley is having its long stop or not. I don't think it is. It might be.
Discount. Well, let's not discount a lot of people actually.
No.
BMW.
And it's all got to happen, hasn't it? 75 is in the pit. So there's a reasonable chance.
Sorry, the timing screen's still showing number 8. Well, now we can get down to the pits and talk to Cabril.
Okay, Vince, you just got out of the car. I saw you gesticulating to your team, something to do with your helmet. What was the issue?
Yeah, we had we use a helmet cooler for the race, and we're doing double stints right now. And although it's cold outside, it gets hot in the car with the front engine, and we're racing hard. So I lost it halfway through my double stint, so at the pit stop, nearly just on the out lap. So I knew it was going to be a long stint, but. No, I mean, we're trained to do things like that. These kind of accessories are luxury for us, so we're supposed to race without them. And the fact that it came off, it wasn't a big deal, but we're not used to it after nowadays.
It makes the gym work all worthwhile. What were you also doing with your hand in the car? What were you doing to try and get air in?
Yeah, we have a little side window in the car, so I was trying to get some air through the cockpit because the air just flows around and it's really warm. So. It's just little tricks like that you learn along the years.
Maybe you weren't doing that up Eau Rouge?
No.
Okay, so you were third, you had a good stint, you're happy with your driving, happy with the track. What other issues have you got to deal with out there tonight at Spa?
Yeah, the car is great. The guys have done a fantastic job. My mechanics are doing an awesome job. Every pit stop, they're on it. The team strategy, we're all covering, we're all ticking the boxes. It's a shame that we had to start from the back, really. Although it's a 24-hour race and it's long, this championship has become a sprint, and it's a shame that we started that far back. But we're slowly getting there, slowly, step by step, and it's a good progress. The traffic is horrendous, man. Some guys don't look out for the blue flags, and it's a shame because really there's no need to battle when you're 4 or 5 seconds off the pace. But then we get caught in traffic, and then that's where an accident happens. So yeah, the only thing is traffic. Right now it's a bit difficult. As the race will go on, it'll get better, I think. Less cars, so be better.
So does your thumb hurt from flashing the lights all the time?
Yeah, and thank God that on the Bentley you gotta only press once to get 3 flashes, so that helps.
That's good. Another luxury.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you for your time. Well done. I'll let you have a nice, well-earned glass of water.
I'm off to bed now.
Okay.
All right.
The 7 car currently dropped to 9th place. I think that'll be making time up pretty such a close battle, isn't it, Nev?
Oh yeah. It's we've got a real fight on our hands as this goes on. It's not going to change a great deal over the next. I shouldn't say this, should I? I don't think it will change that much over the next hour or so. But as the night gives way to daytime, then somebody somewhere is going to say, well, look, we've got to make a bit of an effort here.
Yeah.
And that's when things sometimes get a bit out of hand.
You have to start to push. So I was a bit confused. The timing screen still showed Maxi Soulé in the 8 car, but it has now changed that. So it
Yes.
is Wolfgang Reip who has taken over. And in 3rd place now, because these positions, it's unbelievable how these positions are changing so quickly. But in the 3rd place in the 98 car, still Steph Dusseldorf. And then Philip Enger is running the 99 BMW. They were in the lead. BMW were right at the front, and they just dropped off the pace a little bit, haven't they? But they're still right in the fight here. And this is a big, big fight.
Yes, it looks as if, you know, there might be sort of a, how do I put it? There might be just the fact that they backed off a little bit. I don't know. I can't. But they seem to have a very firm grip on things, didn't they?
And another man I'm seeing moving up our timing screen, so I don't think we've given a shout to at all so far, is Felipe Albuquerque. Albuquerque, who is one of the Audi Le Mans team drivers, but with them only running 2 cars at Le Mans this year, he's been loaned off to LMP2 team, where he's been doing absolutely terrific job. I was speaking to him yesterday, hoping that Audi will go back to 3 cars for the WEC next year, and that being the case, I'm sure Felipe from Portugal will be in the car.
I think a lot of that depends upon not just Porsche, but on Toyota, because
they've announced. No, they have announced they're running 3 cars.
Toyota have announced.
Just announced it.
Well, I just hope that if they are, they're actually a bit quicker than the cars they ran this year and last year.
You know, you say, well, they were quick at Le Mans, because until 23 hours and 55 minutes of winning the thing. So you can't say they're not quick. They were quick round there. Other day, the last WEC round, of course,
I'll give you that.
The last WEC round, they were a bit off the pace. So different racetracks.
Sounds a bit like Eric Morecambe. I do recall once listening into a conversation between the builder of engines and the owner of the car that had just retired. And the builder of engines said, I think it went very well for 20 hours, then show. And the bloke who owned the car, it's a 24-hour race.
Well, yeah, I mean, all my years of motor racing, I've never seen a defeat rip from the heart of victory so close to the end.
That was awful.
It was just
I
terrible.
remember very well Jackie Eakes taking over from Hans Hermann many, many years ago with the GT40. And a lot of people said, well, why did Hans Hermann let him do it? Well, he let him do it because Hans was a bit clever, cautious.
So, big news coming from Row Racing, and Charlie is right there. Come on, Charlie.
Okay then, everyone, so the number on the windscreen denoted that they were in 5th place when they came in the pits. They've now dropped to 7th, now 8th as it goes, so it's still live as it goes on. These guys are changing front brake discs and calipers and pads all at once, so they are changing absolutely everything on the front of this vehicle to do with the brakes, and they can do it in under about 2 minutes, and it's absolutely fascinating to watch. Our cameraman's hopefully getting a nice close-up, and you'll be able to see what we're doing. There's 2 to 3 men on each corner of the car. They're repairing a little bit on the front right as well. So on the far side where our camera is, there's a lot more activity going on the other side of the garage. A lot of clear tape is being applied to the vehicle, so still the sponsors can be seen underneath, and it's really, really sticky, sort of like proper helicopter tape that they use for like helicopter blades. So new tyres going on this front right corner. They've dropped to 12th place now on the position on the windscreen. The luminous LEDs, the air guns, the pneumatic air guns are going absolutely hell for leather. We've already heard from Mark Lemmer today from Barwell Motorsport that they had one explode because they run them at such high pressures. So all looking very relaxed from this side. There's a mechanic just checking any wheel balance, any movement in the front hub, just checking that there's no discrepancy there or weakness, because safety is a key issue here. here, and these guys are doing speeds of up to nearly just under 200 miles an hour on the top straight on the top of Eau Rouge. So it's pretty intense there. The car gets dragged out again, and that is a set of pads and discs changed in seconds, absolutely seconds. The car's down in its jacks, it gets fired up. The guy on the front there with the stopwatch is crucial. They can't leave too early, otherwise they get a penalty, and that penalty really will hurt them. So they've now got to claw back all that hard work that they've just gained. But brakes are really essential here, and it's a tactical error, a tactical move of stopping when they've stopped. But that is a phenomenal fast change. Guys, back to you in the commentary box, and what an amazing stop. Off it goes.
Thank you, Charlie. All's well that ends well. There is the Bentley. Let's have a look. Yeah, well...
Yeah, so that 98 car, Kev, has dropped now to 10th place.
Yeah.
It's done that stop, but it just is still so close in that top 10, top 15 even.
Yeah, well, we see the Bentley 8 back in the lead.
Yeah.
7 is back in 8th place now, so he's got a bit of struggling to do, hasn't he?
He's got some work to do,
Going
yes.
a bit quicker than quite a lot of the people in front of him by about half a second a lap or so. But half a second a lap or so doesn't mean an awful lot, do it?
And now in second place.
The real threat, as far as I can see, is still coming in part from number 99, the BMW.
Rest of the Audis.
Yeah.
It's a 6 car of Christopher Mies now at the wheel. A lot of the work thus far in the race been done by Marcus Winkelhock and Frank Stippler, but Christopher Mies, he might be a bit under the radar, but he's a very quick guy.
He's never got under the 221s. There's no doubt about it that the Bentley has, and also under the 221s, it would seem to me, where is his time? I found it a minute ago. Yes, he's the 220. That's the BMW 99. So they are the quicker cars. Mind you, there are a few people cracking on a bit there. Just look at that Mercedes.
Yep, and the Mercedes are, let's not discount them. They've had their trials and tribulations this weekend, but did mention about half an hour ago that one to watch is the 88 car of Jerome Polican run team, Tristan Fortier, Felix Rosenquist, and Renger van der Zande.
He's 5th now.
That car is 5th now. But what a season Renger's had. He's an ex-Mercedes DTM driver, did a couple of seasons to the DTM. Didn't have a great lead, but didn't have a great season in that. But here is the battle for 5th and 6th place. Look at this. Van der Zande I was just talking about, and the Malaysian Jafar. He's a member of the BRDC, by the way.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Old colony, you see, Malaya. And we're on board the 4th place car, and just behind, of course, is that battle of the two Mercedes. But here, this is another Mercedes. We're on board with Adam Christodoulou.
There's no doubt about it that we're getting to the stage where there's going to be a squabble start. We said it would happen. I'm just sort of... We're looking at what? It's about 10 to 4 by the time here. So we're about, three-quarters of an hour before we get to daylight?
Yeah. So, but now we've got Mercedes-Benz in 4th, 5th and 6th places. And all that disaster, that is with the 5-minute stop. It didn't really cost them that much because it was taken under the yellow, so everybody was going slowly. But what a comeback this is for the Stuttgart company.
Oh yeah.
And Christodoulou has so surprised people with his performance after the Nürburgring 24 hours. And we haven't talked much so far about Jasmine Jafir, but we've seen him racing an awful lot in the UK, in Formula 3 over the years. And he's a very strong runner, has made this switch to sports car racing, and certainly doing a very good job. But here, of course, there's the inter-team rivalry with the HTP Motorsport team, obviously the French team of Polycand, and when we've got the Black Falcon team as well.
I'd expect to see the BMW number 99 begin to make some efforts to pressure, certainly, for second place.
Yeah, well, is he just 3.7 seconds behind, if I'm reading the screen correctly?
Yeah.
So
I think he's got to have a crack at this.
Of course, that one Black Falcon car actually backed by Linkin Park.
Yep.
And we had an interview with them before the start, the boys from the Californian rock band. We talked to Chester, certainly, who's the vocalist, and a fine set of tattoos on him, I have to say.
Didn't sing to you. You didn't ask him. Ah, there you are.
I wasn't the one that interviewed him. But,
say no more.
Wolfgang Reep in the lead at the moment. Christopher Mies in there. So Bentley, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, 4 different manufacturers in the top 4.
It really is a battle, isn't it? And
absolutely,
we've still got 37 minutes to go before we reach half distance.
Yep. Titanic struggle going on here through the night at Spa. 4 manufacturers in the top 4 places.
It's quite strange, actually, when you have the opportunity, which I have luckily had for a large part of the time that I've been involved in motorsport. I actually really enjoy 24-hour races, and sometimes you have a quiet race where you can tell the stories of what happened to A, B, C or D. But another time you've got an event like this which you really can't take your eyes off too much. You may actually wish to go and pay a short call or something like that, but you don't want to go away from it for fear you miss something.
No, that's right. And interesting, though, we've got these. At the moment, it's the German manufacturers there.
Yeah.
Okay, the Bentley's right in there. It's a British manufacturer. These days, it's owned by VW Audi Group. So it just shows.
An Audi engine.
Yeah. What I'm saying is just showing the strength of the German automobile industry. And you've obviously got Ferrari.
Yeah.
You've got Lamborghini in there. And they're still there or thereabouts. And then that Porsche they had 2 decent cars in this race.
Yes, they haven't somehow or other quite shown as we had.
Well, obviously the Kevin Estre car, which should have been one of the strong cars, eliminated in that early accident. And the Porsche, for some reason, haven't put as much in this race. They've got so much effort going to the WEC at the moment to just come off another victory. And it's the one.
Yes, well, they wiped everybody up at the ring, didn't they?
Yeah.
Really did a beautiful job there.
Some brake dust flying around. Christopher
Do you like those grills on the
like them,
Mercs? They really look nice to me. They actually.
It's because it's reminding you.
A pretty car, yeah.
It's reminding you the days of yore.
Yes.
Pretty good racer each day. Jerome Polycand, who runs his car.
Well, cars moving rapidly now. Is that somebody in trouble? Because whoever that was very, very easily passed. I'm not quite sure why it was, who it was, but it's not.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
Somebody's creeping back.
Well, here's a Mercedes coming to the pit, so.
Yeah.
And it's Jafar,
Yeah.
the 84 car, been running in 7th place, or only in 6th place actually.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a problem somewhere. Got a fair little journey up the pit road to find his pit. It really is a long pit road, this, isn't it? He's going all the way around.
He has to go all the way around here because his team is down in the old pit.
As opposed to the new. It makes
Gotta
a
be-
heck of a difference.
Yeah. So, team